worst. When we need a play, he's usually the guy that makes it.
Buccaneers GM Jason Licht told reporters he has no plans to trade Vita Vea. The Pro Bowl nose tackle looking for a new contract recently requested a trade. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston among the first-timers named to the 12-player women's national basketball team. North Carolina football coach Bill Belichick said his son, defensive coordinator Steve Belichick, is on indefinite medical leave. He did not provide any other details.
Lincoln, and the surrounding 5-state area. This is your new afternoon routine. Handley and Hansen. On AM 590. WOW. Connect with the show at Handley and Hansen on Twitter and Instagram. Watch us live on YouTube or call the show at 531-895-0590.
Little hand says it's time to rock and roll.
And here we go. Now, live from the AM 590 WOW studio, here's Nick Handley.
Well, we're waiting.
And Grant Hansen.
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Oh, a very lively and hearty good afternoon to you from the Pinnacle Bank Championship here at Indian Creek in Elkhorn, Nebraska. It is Grant Hansen. It is Nick Handley here live with you. I'm Nick Handley. He's Grant Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
That might have been confusing right there. Of course, Justice Rhody back in our AM 590 WOW studios on 120th and Dodge, where we are safe from any falling signs, although we do have we've got a tent here. I mean, that could collapse.
There's a lot that could go wrong. I mean, yesterday with you was some real potential Final Destination level stuff that was occurring. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what could possibly happen today? That you saw, there's overcast skies right now. You saw the video circulating on Twitter. There was a lightning strike. I mean, come on now. It could be anything.
Well,
it could be anything.
Everyone is more than anything concerned about me getting hit by a golf ball. Remember, the golf ball thing already happened. We forget that my car was hit by a golf ball on, was it Monday?
Oh, that's right.
Monday, heading to the studio over at Miracle Hills.
Right.
So, my car, the undercarriage got clipped by a golf ball. Everything was fine. I didn't swerve off the road or anything. And then just to kind of tease me a little bit more, yesterday, of course, the newly installed, gorgeous-looking AM 590 WOW sign came crashing down.
It took a horrible tumble. Now, it missed you, thankfully.
It did.
And created some fun moments for us, for some. At least for us, and I think our audience, it was fun. There's maybe
I'm good
at least one other person who maybe didn't enjoy it happening as much.
The guy who's got to replace the sign.
Exactly. Yes. But other than that, we laugh and we move on. Right.
Yeah. We've had a full morning so far of Korn Ferry professional golf action here at the Omaha Korn Ferry Stop, the Pinnacle Bank Championship. This is the 10th year that they've been doing this event out here at Indian Creek. Of course, before that, the Korn Ferry Stop, or when it was the Web.com and Nike Tour, that was over at Champions Golf Club. That was the Cox Classic. That one was a little bit more of a sort of Phoenix Open type vibe where there was a lot of partying going on. Here, it's about the golf, and then it's about the post-golf experience with a concert. Now, Barnado's set up in the parking lot. They will have live music both tomorrow night and Saturday out here at Pinnacle Bank Championship. So throughout the show, we're going to be talking to some of the players that are finishing up their morning round. Griffin with the Korn Ferry tournament is arranging that for us. Really appreciate his help. And again, if you're making your way out here, as Grant mentioned, it's overcast, very comfortable. It's still a little humid, but the temperature is still holding steady in the mid-upper 70s right now. So a good day to take in some golf and do so comfortably. Right to our right, which is open to the public here. You've got the snack shop there, then the patio right behind us, which is right behind the very first tee box. That is also open to the public. Would love for you to come on by and say hi. And for a couple of you special folks that are listening to us on the radio right now, if you can prove to us, if you can show on your phone that you have downloaded the all-new AM 590 WOW app, we've got something really cool for you here too.
Ooh.
It's kind of a golf theme type thing, but this is not just for anybody that comes by and says hi. You got to show us that you took advantage of listening to us on your phone by showing us that you downloaded the AM 590 WOW app, and we will hook you up with something pretty darn cool over here. And we're not only going to be here today, we're going to be back tomorrow too.
Hey, there's multiple opportunities. Like, let's say you're listening right now and like, wow, that's really cool. I wish you told me about that sooner. Is it possible for me to still get whatever it is that we're giving away, that beautiful
surprise? Do you not know what we're giving away?
I haven't seen it yet, actually.
Oh, but you know it. You know what it is, though, right?
No, literally no.
Oh, my gosh.
They only showed it to you.
Our amazing Julie Hansen told us about this, too.
I might not have paid attention. Either way, here's the thing. You have another
I'm
opportunity.
showing you right now.
I need you to tell me.
They're these things.
Oh, okay. I have seen these before. Oh, yeah. They're very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
They are very cool. If you can see this, if you're watching us right now, hustle on over. This is what you win. It's like the mini golf ball holder. It's a cooler, actually.
Yeah.
But it looks like a little golf bag.
So I've kind of got a
there it is.
I was thinking about this on the way over, driving over here today. So like I've probably in my life, I'm wanting to change this, but I probably in my life spent more time running on golf courses in cross country than actually ever playing golf. Like actual hard time spent running on golf courses. And I only ran cross country for a year. So I am not really well aware of the general difficulty of this course. Would you clue me in on some of that?
It's challenging, and they have made it more of a tour-like course in the build-up for this event with really thickening the rough. The grounds crew here and the superintendent and everybody have done such a fantastic job over the last 10 years of making this thing kind of a must golf destination. And we talked about this yesterday, and then also with Jessica Brabeck, the tournament director, of the renovation just off to our right with that clubhouse. If you walk through that clubhouse, it's very country club-like. They've got the basement, the sand room, which is more of your high-end pub look.
Okay.
And then you've got the restaurant that's on the main floor off to our right that I know kind of compared to more of like a Charleston's feel. So, again, you've got dining options, and they've made it very, very player friendly when it comes to this event as well, where you're going to have that clubhouse and just more of that, what you typically get on the Pro Tour feel here. So they've really catered it around this event, but more importantly, for people that are, because this is still open to the public when it comes to this golf course, it's more challenging because it does have that demand for accuracy off the tee box, just like most courses do. But if you find yourself in the rough, in a lot of courses, you can get into the second or primary cut, and you can still get out with relative ease depending on how they're cutting it. Here, it's so lush and thick that you're like, okay, I'm just off of the primary. You're going to have to maybe club down a bit just to try to fight that thing through the thickness of the rough. And as I was hearing from some of the pro golfers yesterday, those greens, which every tour player is going to prefer, very quick, very slick. But hearing on Monday and Tuesday that those things are rolling extremely quickly, which, again, for you and I, we may not love that, but for tour players, they love it. They can get the reads and they can get the true roll on the greens here. So, I mean, it's a challenging course for sure, but, I mean, that's what you want for these pro-level players.
Number to call us today, 531-895-0590. Again, 531-895-0590 at 590 WOW on Twitter and Instagram. Just look up 590 WOW on Facebook to find us as well. Email us, Nick at 590WOW.com and Grant at 590WOW.com and Justice at 590WOW.com.
Real quick, Jimmy in the chat and Shane, good afternoon to you guys. Jimmy says, per yesterday's near disaster, beware of errant golf shots. If there's an errant golf shot, it would defy logic because literally a guy
Someone
teeing
would have
off.
to be trying.
Yeah, he would actually have to somehow hit some type of crazy backspin off his driver to make contact because we're essentially behind the first tee box. Now, there is, I don't think we're in play. I'm going to look over here.
Nope.
Yeah, so we're right behind the first tee box. We're good. Unless some guys, they got the putting green over there in case they just get frustrated and they want to take a hack over here.
Sure.
Then I guess that's it.
That could happen.
You know, with my luck this week, I wouldn't put it past anything.
The folks at the Pinnacle Bank Championship did well to accommodate your particular fears. Coming up on the show today, we got it from a guest standpoint. I mean, we got a jam-packed show. We'll have Carmen DeFalco with us at 5:20 in the 5 o'clock hour from ESPN Chicago. Freddie Coleman also of ESPN Radio, will join us in the 3 o'clock hour. And then coming up here in just a few minutes, Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7 Sports will be there as well. And again, we'll keep using this too. And you can email us or text us, or actually not yet, hopefully soon. But just if you've got questions for any of those guys, drop them in the chat. We'll in our YouTube chat as well, and we'll note those and make sure to get a chance to squeeze those in along with some of our questions for those guys today.
I want to ask you a question because this was brought up with Wilson Moore, Tom Chattel, and Gary Sharp. This was on Tuesday that they were doing the post-player availability report, and Tom Chattel mentioned this in his press box notes, that he had a little comment at the end of this, again, post-practice, post-player availability report that they were doing, talking about something that really piqued my interest when it comes to, he was talking more about the players and the overall vibe.
Sure.
But I think this kind of also goes into the history of Nebraska fandom. But he brought up that entitlement versus chip on the shoulder feel. And what he was talking about, just to give you the proper context, is talking about Nebraska gets a 5-star quarterback, maybe like Dylan Raiola. And
I was thinking obviously that's probably the only one.
Obviously, it'd be Trey Taylor, who's now a 5-star as well, but he's not on campus yet, or at least not officially.
Right.
But, and then you've got some of these guys that are coming in from other programs that were either highly recruited, and I don't want to say this is a sort of a bounce back for them, but there's that feel that there's a lot of guys that are on this roster, especially this year, that need to prove it, that need to have more of that chip on the shoulder as opposed to entitled of like, hey, I'm at Nebraska, so I've made it. I'm at Nebraska, and we got all this great deal with Adidas, these amazing facilities and everything that goes on with being a Nebraska student athlete, but especially a football player. Boy, this is the good life. And Tom's point was more of, I want to see less of the, the quote entitlement and more that chip on the shoulder, that blue collar mentality of, I'm Anthony Calandria. I want to prove that I can be a successful Big Ten quarterback. I'm Owen Chambliss. I came from San Diego State. I had great numbers there. I was the leading tackler for that team, but that wasn't the Big Ten. I want to see, is what Tom was saying, is I want to see guys that have that chip on the shoulder mentality and not that entitlement mentality, which I think is interesting from a player standpoint, but also from a fan standpoint as well when it comes to talking about Nebraska football.
Yeah, so I agree with half of what he was saying. So I 100% agree this team should have the chip on its shoulder, and I kind of get the sense that they do. Like, we were talking about that, just thinking like, okay, what are we going to see from Matt Rhule at Big Ten Media Days? What's the vibe? Damon came over to us, and look, I think there's just sort of a sort of surliness about this team this year, at least at the outset. And some areas are pretty confident in their abilities. So the chip I want. 100% I want the chip. I don't know if I think that and I don't know if Tom was trying to say this or not, but I don't know if you can really say that Nebraska's had a full entitlement feel over the last few years. Partially because I think it's pretty hard to be in this day and age.
You would think.
Because one, you get paid a lot, and maybe that's one easy reason to say that maybe it is easier. But you're not here long enough. Like, you're not here at Nebraska long enough to get entitled to think, I'm at Nebraska, and this is what I deserve. We're going to get this win because I'm at Nebraska. I got chosen to play at Nebraska. I'm this type of player, and that means that we're going to beat this team because they're from a lesser school. Like, because guys move around so much, I don't know if you can get there, and I get it. Like, there's a lot of people that would say Dylan Raiola was entitled, or maybe still is. But a lot of those people at this time last year would not have said that.
Yeah.
They would not have said that about him, and he wouldn't have given anything out, for the most part, in his press conferences until it really, up until that point last year, hadn't displayed any of that behavior. And you could say, like, some of the pouty behavior and antics that occurred on the field last season makes you think, okay, you can make an argument for entitled. You can make an argument now with some of the information that's come out. But it's hard for me to say that about Nebraska generally, because nobody would have really thought of that or said that a year ago. And I get it, things change, but that part I don't necessarily buy into. The chip I want. And you should want that every year.
Well, sure. I think even teams that have won national championships that know they're going to be, a target, I think those are teams that also need to have that chip on the shoulder. I think there's varying ways you can do that, but I almost think, and I'm not trying to put words into the mouth of Tom Chattel on his thought or comments on that, But I also think with this day and age of revenue share and name, image, likeness, that you do get to these big programs before you even play a competitive down in the Big Ten or in the SEC, that there's all this money now that you have acquired and you've signed for. And yeah, you've got some obligations to fulfill when it does come to name, image, likeness, but you're going through negotiations like a big time player in the NFL on his second or third contract. And so I do wonder if there's a little bit of that when it comes to entitlement of, yeah, of course I should have a chip on my shoulder, but my bank account says I've already accomplished something.
And so that to me isn't necessarily entitlement as much as like apathy and laziness that comes into play throughout, just saying I've got this much money in my bank account, I don't need to do this. That's laziness to me more so than entitlement.
There's a line in Moneyball that the actor playing David Justice, I don't know if David Justice actually said this to Billy Beane in real life, but in the movie, it made me just think of what you brought up there. You guys are paying me $7 million to play baseball for you, so yeah, I guess I am pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, no, I'm not. He goes, Yankees are paying half of your salary. That's what they think of you. They're paying you, X amount at $3.5 million to play against them. That's what they think of you. And so I always think of guys that maybe have that mentality. And I'm not saying anybody for Nebraska in particular. I'm just saying overall in college sports that there can be maybe that even in the subconscious of, yeah, I am special because you guys just pay me $5 million to play for your team. And I've never even played in a Power 4 conference. And sometimes that can feel like entitlement, like I am special based on what I signed for. We know that's not the case. We know that, cool, you got that money, good for you, but you got to prove that. Otherwise, it leaves you way more open to criticism.
I get the sense that there is way more we have something to prove than any level of entitlement that I perceive.
See, I would agree with that based on the presence of Nebraska last year at the Big Ten, or last week at the Big Ten Media Days, where there seems to be, even being led by the head coach in Matt Rule, again, very much to the point on a lot of stuff last week, and when he's done a fraction of the appearances that he did a year ago, that he's been a lot more direct, and I think that to me shows maybe a bit of a chip. I think they're getting very tired. He was very tired of hearing about the strength of schedule and hearing that. That to me also shows a chip. I thought Justin Evans, Andrew Marshall, and even Luke Lindenmeyer to an extent showed a little bit of that. Yeah, we're tired.
Oh, and Chambliss definitely has it. I mean, we'll hear from him later on in the show today, as well as Paul Mbenga. Also, Brandon, a couple of good questions in our YouTube chat from him. We'll get to you on those two potentially after Michael Bruntz. Both of those are really, really good. So I think we can tackle those after Michael.
Yep, and we are going to do that. Coming up here, Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7 Sports. He got a chance to hear from a lot of those players a couple days ago. Fall camp now in day number 2, less than 30 days away from kickoff between Nebraska and Ohio in the college football season. So what are we watching as camp starts to ramp up even more? Michael Bruntz will tell us exactly that and more when we return. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship at Indian Creek.
Does your athlete struggle with confidence? As a parent, you can see it. Your child has the talent and the work ethic, but lately something's different. They're overthinking, playing nervous, losing confidence after one mistake. The physical skills are there, but now it's time to train the mental game. Iron Minds Coaching helps young athletes build confidence, improve focus, and perform with greater composure under pressure. Because confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. Schedule a consultation today at ironmindscoaching.com.
Having trouble sleeping? Stop by 42 Degrees and discover why so many people turn to 42 Degrees for solutions that help them rest, relax, and wake up feeling refreshed. Visit the brand new location at 180th and Q, or stop by any of the 10 convenient 42 Degrees locations serving Omaha and Lincoln. Grand opening savings are happening now, making it the perfect time to stop in. Learn more at 42degrees.com. That's 42degrees.com. 42 Degrees. Still by your mom's house.
Did you know the Salvation Army of Omaha provides 8 main programs and services for people in need around the metro? Food, housing, mental health, youth development, material assistance, older adult services, anti-human trafficking, and emergency disaster services. We're here to help no matter what the time or season. For more information, just go to salarmyomaha.org. That's salarmyomaha.org.
Omaha heat can be brutal, and a broken AC makes it worse. If your system can't keep up, call Controlled Comfort for fast, professional cooling service. Their certified technicians diagnose issues quickly and restore comfort when you need it most. Stay cool, protect your system, and avoid costly breakdowns. Homes and businesses alike enjoy reliable indoor comfort through the hottest days of summer across Omaha all season long. Schedule your service today at ControlledComfort.com.
Control Comfort keeps it under control. Yeah. Have you been to Deer's Ford lately?
We may not be the biggest dealership around, but we strive to be the best. And Fremont agrees. We've been honored with 9 Best of Fremont awards, including Best Place to Work, New Car Dealer, Pre-Owned Car Dealer, Locally Owned Business, Tire Store, Auto Repair, Glass Repair, Body Shop, and Best Oil Change. See why so many drivers choose Deers Ford Lincoln. Visit us today at DeersFord.com. Fremont's best award-winning dealership.
Have you been to Deer's Ford lately?
Imagine this. It's 7 a.m., you're late for work, and now your garage door won't open. Or worse, it's stuck open all day while you're gone. Suddenly, your home is wide open for the world to see. That's where Spring Kings come in. As the fast and friendly garage door experts, we don't just fix what's broken, we make sure it stays safe. Broken springs, worn cables, faulty sensors, we find it before it costs you having to deal with the neighbors seeing your treadmill turn clothes rack all day. Spring Kings Omaha. We would appreciate your vote again for Best of Omaha. Online at springkingsomaha.com.
Le Peep has been Omaha's favorite breakfast destination for a reason. Whether you're meeting with friends for brunch, catching up over coffee, or enjoying a family breakfast, Le Peep serves fresh, made-from-scratch favorites you'll come back for again and again. Pair your meal with a handcrafted coffee made from locally sourced espresso and discover why Omaha has voted Le Peep the #1 best breakfast for 19 years. Stop by one of our 4 convenient locations and taste the Le Peep difference for yourself.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Handley and Hansen broadcasting live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship here at Indian Creek, day #1 of the Pro Golf Tournament here. Got all kinds of festivities around just the golf itself. Concert going to be taking place tomorrow night and Saturday as well. Excited to be welcoming in Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7 Sports. And Grant, this is fun because there was one time that Michael Bruntz and I were golfing at this very golf course during the Pinnacle Bank Championship Media Scramble. I was able to rope him into this. He made the long drive all the way to Lincoln, bright and early to Indian Creek. What were we, hole number 3 or 4 when we found out that Trev Alberts was getting hired as the athletic director and you had to bail?
It was the long par 5. So that was like the 3rd hole on that side, and had to make a business decision. And Nick drove on without me, and I had to wait for somebody to come get me from the clubhouse. So.
Yeah, he was
how'd you play that day? By the way, I was. It was probably better that I got off the course when I did. I don't think I was playing very well early on.
Actually, I don't think any of us were playing very well. And then all of a sudden, we find out that Trev Alberts is going to be new athletic director, and the round really turned around. And yeah, that's right. I forgot I actually left you because you weren't close enough for me to just like zip you back over to the clubhouse. We were out far enough. And I'm like, all right, do we move on? What are you going to do? You're going to keep playing? And you're like, I probably need to go cover this. So away Brunsey went. But I thought it was really cool that they actually picked you up.
Yeah, they came and got me. I never told you this. So I made it back for the press conference, which was there wasn't much lag time there.
Yeah.
But made it back for the press conference. And as I'm setting up a camera in the back, I happened to notice that I was not the only media member who had been at the golf course that day who had to zip back to Lincoln. And in fact, somebody was still wearing their golf spikes at the press conference. Like they didn't even change out of the spikes. So they're no longer they're in a different market now. But I always appreciated that I looked down and the guy's got the FootJoys on with way too much grass caked on him.
Brunsey, do you sense that this Nebraska team has a chip on its shoulder this year?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I think there's maybe a little bit more of an edge. than maybe, what we've seen the last couple of years. I think for the coaches, there's a little bit of one there. I mean, I think there was some disappointment, maybe a little angst with how the season ended in November, with the way that everything played out in spite of the injuries and everything else down the stretch. But, is it particularly chippier than normal? Maybe a little bit, but I think that's also just maybe more of a reflection of being in year 4 of this thing and needing to kind of get things going in the right direction. So I don't know. I mean, the other day when we talked to 10 players or something like that. I mean, I think there's a lot of old guys on this team. And I think sometimes there's probably not a big difference between chippiness and maturity at times when you're in this point of the season. So I don't know. I mean, I don't get the sense that like this team is pissed because they were picked 11th in the league by conference media for whatever that's worth. But I do sense a seriousness and a maturity on this team that maybe was not there as much in previous years.
Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7 Sports, joining us here on Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Bruntzy, I know Owen Chambliss spoke, and he got some people's attention. And when I think about the defense, the mad scientist thing thrown out a lot by Rob Orich, if this defense takes a step forward, where's your most confidence with each level of this defense? Where would you start with where you feel the best?
I like what they added at the linebacker spot. I think I think with Foster, I think with Chambliss, you added, really, I think pretty good athleticism. I think Chambliss is going to be what's going to make this whole thing go. Like, I think he's going to have to be. He's got the green dot on the helmet. He's been really active in terms of getting guys up to speed with this defense and what's expected. You hear coaches talk about him, and they talk about him almost like he's like the maturity of like a GA. Like that's how important he is. So I feel relatively confident at the linebacker spot. I think the secondary, once they get the pieces in place and we kind of get to see where guys are, I think there's reason to be confident about that group. I mean, I think the fact that you have guys back who are part of a secondary that was really good against the pass last year. I mean, as much as Nebraska struggled down the stretch, let's not forget the work they got done against a really good passing team like USC. I mean, this was a top 5 pass defense for a good portion of the season. So I think that is, another area that I feel reasonably confident about. I mean, I think I'm in wait and see on defensive line, as I think everybody is, and how that's going to come about. But I think those are 2 reasons to be moderately confident about this transition to a new defense going fairly well, because I think they have guys at the right spots. And in this defense, linebackers need to be really active and really productive. And so I think Chambliss was probably as big of a get out of the transfer portal as Nebraska got.
Bruntz, there's a sort of saying about talking season, but also just that, like, to me, like, this season is like best I've ever been a part of season. There's a lot of those on day one of camp. If you had to pick one sort of thing that Nebraska says on day one that they said on Tuesday, I guess, or day 0, that would be true at the end of the season that you think is going to stick around, what do you think it would be?
I mean, I do think this offensive line can be very good. Like, I think that's, one reason why there's, you should be confident about this offense. I mean, that was a part of the offense that absolutely needed to be improved from last season. They brought in Jeep Wade. They brought in Lonnie Teasley. They invested a lot of money in the transfer portal in their 3 additions. All 3 of those guys are going to be starters, potentially multi-year starters now with the 5-for-5 thing. You have what I believe one of the better centers in the Big Ten, and there's a lot of good centers in this league in Justin Evans, and a player at left tackle in Elijah Pritchett that was playing great football at the end of last season. So I think that's going to be something that's going to carry. And I don't even know that we're talking enough about the fact that there's actually some depth there too. I mean, you've got Gunnar Gatula, who has Big Ten starting experience under his belt coming back from injury. They like what they have from Sam Sledge at that spot. I think you look at guys like Tyler Knack, who's played multiple offensive line spots. And I think they're going to do things that maybe play to this line's strength a little bit more too. So I think that, the other one you forgot was this is iron sharpens iron season. And that's, really an important one to remember as well this time of year. But I do think that offensive line's got the potential to be good to great, and that they needed to get better there.
Nick's fighting with his computer right now. He got disconnected from the internet. He is still connected on audio. I don't know if he wants to ask a question.
No, I would love to. And Bruntz, even though you can't see me right now, if you factor in, we were talking a little bit about this entitlement and chip on the shoulder type thing, and that's kind of what led to that question. Does this group have a chip on the shoulder? When you think of entitlement, do you necessarily think of guys, whether we're talking about Nebraska college football players, that feel like they're playing in the Power Four, they're playing for these national championships, and that's where maybe some of the entitlement comes from? Or if there is that entitlement, it's with this new era of guys like, I'm just using Anthony Calandri as an example, a guy that played at Virginia, but then actually made a lot of hay in the Mountain West Conference and is getting paid a good amount of money to come over and play quarterback for a Big Ten team. Can that lead, even in your opinion, to some entitlement without even saying like, oh, these guys are acting as such? Like, it just, you're signing for that money, and before you even take that competitive snap in one of those power conferences, you kind of feel like you've already accomplished something because your bank account says you have?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think nowadays with the portal and NIL and everything else, like, I think is there entitlement? I don't know. I mean, I think this is there's some confidence there, with this group. I mean, I think that, from their point of view, it's like, well, I could have gone to X, Y, and Z, but I came to Nebraska to win football games, and we're going to do that. I mean, is that entitlement? I don't know. It's with guys moving around so much nowadays too. There's also the piece of like, well, do you earn it at a place when you're bouncing one year to the next and going different places? I don't know. I mean, I think it's. The longer this has gone on, the more I think there's just kind of this disconnect in some ways with the way that college football now is viewed inside the walls of a facility versus, among fans and people who are outside of it. I mean, I think I don't know that guys think about it in that way. Like, it's, I'm showing up, I'm relatively confident. I was recruited to do this job, and it is a job. Like, let's not get that twisted.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of where it comes from. I think in the example of Calandri, I think he's just a naturally kind of confident guy. And I mean, think about what Matt Rule has said about him and how he ended up at Nebraska. I mean, I think there's a little bit of that confidence, cockiness, brashness, whatever you want to call it, that was somewhat attractive to Nebraska when they were looking for a quarterback. Like that's our guy. And that's, I think, part of it. So is that a chip? Is it entitlement? I don't know. Maybe it's also just a guy being confident in his abilities and not having to worry about all the other things,
Bruntz, before I let you go, I want to ask you, later on in the show, we'll be discussing villains in college athletics. A list came out today from ESPN about specifically the villains in college football. Two-parter here. Who's your primo number one villain in college football from your life that you can think of? And then two, what's the quality that a college football villain has to have?
Yeah, I mean, I come from a family of Coloradans. So there's the side of it that I glommed onto, which is the Denver Broncos. There's the part of it that I maybe didn't as a kid, which is the Colorado Buffaloes. And my kind of introduction to that was like late 80s Colorado Buffaloes, early 90s Colorado Buffaloes. And they were a pretty good villain. Like they were they were brash. I think that's twice I've used brash here in this. That's got to be some kind of record, but they were cocky. They were good. They could back it up. And you know, you kind of had to hear it at the Thanksgiving table. You know, I heard it a lot. So I think that would be towards the top of my list is the what was called like late 80s, early 90s Colorado. It was pretty like Miami was up there, like those Miami teams. Colorado not far behind them.
Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7 Sports, joining us here on Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Bruntz, appreciate the time as always. Look forward to talking to you here throughout the season as well. Have a great rest of the week, my man.
You too, guys. Take care.
All right, when we come back, we are going to be talking to one of the really cool stories here in the Pinnacle Bank Championship, Nate Vance, who had that final spot to qualify for this event here. He was part of the morning round in the morning wave of golfers that got underway. We'll talk with him. We'll sit down and get his thoughts on day number one and just kind of having a chance to hit it at the local course here as a Creighton alum. That is just around the corner as we continue broadcasting live from Pinnacle Bank Championship at Indian Creek. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Hi, this is Dave Navity. Every Saturday, right here on AM 590 WOW, my show, Saturday Mornings with Dave Navity, is the place to be. 6 to 9 every Saturday. We'll cover news, politics, current events, and anything else my brain decides to conjure up. One promise, it'll be entertaining, and it'll be the right way to start your Saturday morning right here on AM 590 WOW.
At Harvest Auto Family, we believe buying a vehicle should be simple, transparent, and enjoyable. That's why we offer an extensive inventory with something for every driver. We're Nebraska's pre-owned car, truck, and electric vehicle experts, providing quality vehicles, fair pricing, and friendly service you can count on. It's no surprise drivers across the United States trust Harvest Auto Family. The next time you're headed to Lincoln for the game or taking the family on a road trip, stop by Harvest Auto Family at the Roundabout in Wahoo. Visit us online at driveharvest.com.
Summer is so much more than just nice weather. It means taking out the boat or the golf cart or the Harley out of the garage. But when it's been a few months since those have started up, and they won't, that's where Action Batteries comes in. At Action Batteries, it all starts with us. Whether it's your car battery or your lawn and garden battery, we've been doing it all since 1982. So you can focus on having some fun this summer. Action Batteries Unlimited offers free installation of batteries in most vehicles. Find us at 79th and J Street or online at actionbatteries.com.
Register to win a whole house generator from AM 590 WOW and Generators for Sale with the Generac Power Play giveaway. Log on to 590WOW.com and tell us what you want to protect when the power goes out, and you'll be registered to win a whole house generator installed at your home, valued at nearly $15,000. There's other great prizes too, like a portable generator and smart home devices. Don't be left in the dark. Register today and see contest rules at 590WOW.com.
Behind every successful move is someone who's listening, guiding, and looking out for the details. That's the advantage of working with the Nebraska Eastern Real Estate team with Better Homes and Garden Real Estate, Don Peterson and Associates. Blair Horner, Steve Stager, and James Liepert are ready to provide you with trusted advice, exceptional service, and a shared commitment to helping you make your next move with confidence. Connect with us today at donpeterson.com or call us at 402-936-6140.
Boomstock is back, and we're celebrating 5 far-out years. Join Boomer Radio August 29th on the Gene Leahy Mall for Boomstock 2026. Enjoy an evening of classic 60s and 70s vibes with live music from Bozak and Morrissey, Touch of Grey, and The Raw Nerve. Plus food trucks, raffles, games, a full bar, and more. Presented by Mutual of Omaha and benefiting the First Responders Foundation and the Stevens Center. General admission is free. Upgrade to VIP at boomstock.org.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kaiser, founder of Kaiser Wealth Management. At Kaiser Wealth Management, we work one-on-one with clients to help create personalized financial strategies designed around their unique goals and priorities. Backed by nearly 3 decades of industry experience, I'm committed to provide thoughtful guidance and personalized attention every step of the way. Learn more about planning for the retirement you've worked so hard to achieve. Contact us today at kaiserwealth.com. We're in Omaha. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen. Give us a call and share your thoughts. 531-895-0590.
Back with you here at Indian Creek. It is day number 1 of the Pinnacle Bank Championship for us. We'll be out here tomorrow as well. And Nick Handley is back on video. How about that?
Yeah, you know what? If
Congratulations.
there was going to be some type of technical difficulties, it was going to happen with me. So it did.
Well,
we're good.
now we just kind of, hopefully survive.
I know. Oh, nothing like that. But appreciate Michael Bruntz joining us.
I haven't heard that golf story before. That was cool.
Yeah. So we were out here they always do the media scramble. We were going to do it this year, but that was when I was in Ireland, and I figured you're still wanting to learn how to golf,
right? And it's not a great place to break in. Hey, let's get to those questions that Brandon had before Bruntz joined us. So we'll start with some quarterback talk. So 5 of 5 in place. How does NU handle the QB situation in 2027? Presumably, they have a chunk of money tied up in Calandria. We know Trey Taylor has a price tag. If Calandria is solid but not draft worthy, do you usher him out the door and start the freshman, or do you try to keep both while spending a huge chunk on a QB that doesn't play? I think the ideal situation is that you end up with both next year.
Yeah.
Because I think I don't know the numbers well enough to know for sure, but I mean, I'd guess they'd be close. Now, if Calandria played to what Dylan was, the two of them combined, don't know for sure. But like if Calandria plays well next year, that's the problem that you want. And I don't think you want Trey Taylor.
No.
Starting as a freshman. In fact, I don't. I do not want Trey Taylor starting next year. If that ends up happening, that's no good. I also don't think that if he is just complete buns this year, they'll cut him loose. I don't think they will have any problem cutting him loose if that's the case. So
I just like how you said complete buns.
Yeah.
But I would think that for Anthony Calandria, well, a couple parts of what you just said there. If he's struggling, this is where I go back to the TJ Lateef experience, in that all of a sudden TJ Lateef is reignited, or at least reinserted into that spot of getting some valuable reps and maybe even getting a start here and there, because this is where that sense of urgency for this entire team, but especially this offense, is going to come. And I'm not trying to say that, if Calandria is slow out of the gate, all of a sudden they're making a change or anything like that. But if it does get to a point of the season where it's just not working and you're not moving forward with this offense, you go to a guy that you've already seen in this offense, at least some extent of this offense, like TJ Lateef, and you give him a run at it. Now, if both of them are ineffective, then you got a problem. Then you're putting a lot of pressure on the true freshman. But I would think one or the other, in my opinion, one or the other between Lateef and Calandria are going to be effective enough that if they have that desire to be back in Nebraska next year, that they can do that, and they would be that guy, and that Trey Taylor would come in a more ideal situation where he's not going to have the weight of the world having to start.
Well, you have to have that. You need to have that. I mean, I think that was, if you want to point to the things that I suppose could have potentially gone wrong with Dylan, that's got to be part of it. Like you should have been in a situation, and I don't know if he would have come here if he knew he was going to sit for a year behind anybody, but like you should have had a situation there where he could get a chance to develop. The other thing is I feel bad for Lateef. Like, of all the people, like he's not on anybody's mind as like, okay, who do you want to be Nebraska's quarterback in 2027? Nobody's saying TJ Lateef. And so it's sort of, again, much, 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 much lower stakes.
That's why I was impressed with what he had to say.
It's sort of Behringer-esque in that, like, he has to be ready to go this year and play and save Nebraska's bacon if Anthony Calandria isn't the guy. He has to be ready to do that. And there's no guarantees that he's even going to get a single start next year if he decides to stick around like he did this past year. And I'm sure that, once again, he'll command some level of value, especially if he gets a chance to start a game this year for Nebraska. Because of the way things lay out from a quarterback perspective, I don't know if he'll ever get a chance at Nebraska to be the guy, to be the number one quarterback. He'll probably project outwardly that he's okay with that he's ready to just fill the role that his team puts in front of him. But that's got to be hard.
Yeah, I think that this is why it wasn't necessarily what he said on Tuesday. The fact that I thought it was interesting that Matt Rule said, you know what, I'm going to put Anthony Calandria and TJ Lateef in front of the media. Danny Kaelin didn't speak.
Sure.
And I think that it maybe served two purposes. One, you're giving the respect to TJ Lateef, who ended the year as the team's starting quarterback, and you want to give him that opportunity to address his overall confidence level in that quarterback room and his ability to be ready when called upon. And as he talked about the competition, I mean, he spoke like there was some type of competition going on. I think you read between the lines, and I think the other part of that was for TJ Lateef to kind of what you just talked about there, kind of endear himself with the fan base of this is a guy that essentially was in the transfer portal recruited over for this upcoming season, and yet he's still keeping a very level head. He's saying the right things, and remember that key phrase, he's doing everything he can to prepare, and he loves being here at Nebraska. And this is the one thing about the Matt Rule overall era when it comes to some of the good and some of the not so good, is his retention rate has been tremendous. And when you look at a quarterback who still has several years of eligibility, who started the previous year, and all of a sudden they're bringing in a quarterback to unseat him and take over the offense the following year, and he returns, I think that says a lot about people still with that buy-in of what Matt Rule is trying to accomplish.
I just have a hard time seeing a world where you've got the ideal situation for Nebraska fans, which is that Anthony Calandria plays well this year and is able to come back and welcome back for a fifth season. And then you have Trey Taylor waiting in the wings. I don't know if TJ Lateef fits into any of those plans as the guy at Nebraska. He may never get a chance to be the starting quarterback here, but he's going to be as important as anybody throughout the course of this season. And, of course,
he is,
like most backup quarterbacks, he'll be the most popular guy on the team probably in October.
Chances are he's probably going to get a shot to play because that's just how it's been when it comes to injuries and everything with that. When we return, we're going to wrap up the 2 o'clock hour. We're going to talk to Nate Vance. He just got done with the Morning Wave, the Creighton alum. He was just a really cool story getting here to the Pinnacle Bank Championship. We're going to talk about his day and just the overall golf journey playing here back home at the Indian Creek Club here for the Pinnacle Bank Championship. As we continue live from Indian Creek, it's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Wing Haven and Millard is doing wings the right way. Easy on the wallet, but hard on battling your appetite. Every sauce is scratch made, and they keep getting better. Want to try something new? Haven Umami Bomb Rub might be right for you. Something hot? Try the legendary Haven Sauce of Hell. Looking for something a little more casual? Get them with garlic parm or lemon pepper. And hey, if you're looking to save even more, mention this ad or AM 590 for 10% off. Open every day till 11 at 138th and P. Wing Haven. Run for wings.
Looking for a trash service that still believes in good old-fashioned hometown values? Then call S2 Refuse and Recycling. You're never just another account. You're a neighbor, and that's exactly how you'll be treated. From dependable commercial or residential trash pickup and yard waste removal to recycling service and roll-off dumpsters for home projects or cleanups and portable restrooms, S2 delivers friendly service you can count on. Make the switch to the local company that puts customers first. Visit S2Rolloffs.com today. S2 Refuse and Recycling. It's a hometown service done right.
Live music 3 times a week just west of Elkhorn. The Doghouse Saloon in Waterloo. Wednesday nights, it's Chad Lee. Friday nights, live bands. Sunday afternoons, music on the big patio, cold beer in hand. Ride out, drive out, everybody's welcome at the Doghouse. And when the Huskers play, Dog fires up the smoker. So come hungry on game day. Take the Waterloo exit to the Doghouse Saloon. This week's bands are on their Facebook page.
Looking for Omaha's best tacos, wings, and tequila? Look no further than the Corner Kick Cantina, where tacos and tequila reign supreme. Our unique Midwest Mex experience blends the bold flavors of Mexican cuisine with the warmth of Midwest hospitality. Voted best of Omaha for tacos, it's the perfect spot to enjoy delicious food and catch the game. Whether you're gathering with friends, colleagues, or family, the Corner Kick Cantina has it all. 3 Omaha locations, online at thecornerkickcantina.com. We would appreciate your vote again for best of Omaha for tacos and tequila Tequila Bar.
Jeff Ballinger, Gorilla Car Wash, and your family has quite a history in Council Bluffs.
Jack, we've been blessed to be in business 100 years. My grandfather starting Ballinger Automotive in 1926. And Gorilla Car Wash, of course, starting 1991. So we have been blessed to be in business. We're grateful to the people in the metro area who have traded with us for so long. Yeah, we sure haven't taken it for granted.
That is quite a legacy. It's Gorilla Car Wash. Find those 8 locations, GorillaWash.com.
Are you frustrated with your current pharmacy? Well, you're not alone. There's a better way. VRX Pharmacy in Omaha, 1 block north of 90th and Dodge. I'm Charles Tomlinson, a pharmacist at VRX. We're not a chain, not a box store, but a locally owned community pharmacy that knows our customers. Plus, we deliver. We work with all providers, except all insurances, Medicare and Medicaid. Call VRX today, a better way to get your medications.
Make the call, make the change today. VRX, the better way, the better way.
Here's your updated Metro weather outlook. A blend of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 82. Partly cloudy tonight, lows dip down to about 68. Currently, it's 75 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki, and that's your updated Metro weather on AM 590 WOW. Online at 590WOW.com.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Back here, hour number 1 at the Pinnacle Bank Championship as we are live from Indian Creek, and we're happy to be joined here in person with Nate Bruntz, Lincoln native, Creighton alum, had a really solid, first day, 4 under on the afternoon. First of all, I should say the morning. So I know the cliche question is, how's the course playing this morning? How was it for you?
It was good. So it's soft out there after all the rain, low wind, so pretty gettable. Even to some tucked pins, you could land a long iron next to it and stop it. So, course is in really good condition. Luckily, I stayed out of a whole lot of trouble. Besides hole 1, that was really the only trouble I was in. So, that's usually a good sign when you stay out of trouble here at Indian Creek. The rough can be gnarly.
Oh yeah.
I was asking him earlier. My golf experience is incredibly limited. But how would you describe the challenges and the difficulty of this course?
It's very demanding off the tee box. You got a lot of bunkers that are, 290 carry. And if you miss them, you could be in the rough. One thing that's helping this week is the softness of the course in general. So the fairway's a little softer. The ball won't be like bouncing through the fairway and rolling into that rough. So again, scoreable conditions together today. But yeah, the greens are soft. So like I said, you can kind of hit them at the pins more so. But it's a long course. So you're hitting long irons into most of the par 4s and the par 3s. So you got to be sharp with your long irons.
Nate Bruntz joining us after his round 4 under. So a solid start for him, the Lincoln Southwest native, Creighton alum as well. And what does it mean to be playing in this tournament for you? And I know you had that qualifier with the Nebraska qualifier back in July to get a spot here at the field in the Pinnacle Bank Championship. But it was kind of funny before you came on, saw family and friends coming by. Little guy comes over, gives you a big hug as well. Just what does this mean just from a personal standpoint?
It's the best. Having my family and friends here to support me and just bringing them all to. I mean, it's an event that it's not for me really. It's just for them. I can bring them all together through golf, and I think that's just very special, and I love to see it. So,
you went to high school in Lincoln. You come to Omaha for college, and you go to Creighton. Would you say you're a J-sker, or have you picked a side?
Man, this is a tough question. I always
you got to be careful how you answer.
I know lots of people are listening right now. I always say I have the best argument to be a J-sker.
Yeah,
because growing up in Lincoln and I played for the Jays, so I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Man, you can label me as a J-sker. That's totally fine. But I'll root for Nebraska. When it comes to basketball, I go with my Jays. I know it was fun watching Nebraska this year. Absolutely loved that. But I grew up going to Nebraska basketball games. That was my team. Watching those guys in the Vanny growing up. So it's hard. Why can't we all be friends? How about that?
That's a good. I think you are part of the exception for people who really do tell you to pick a side. I think when you come from Lincoln, you grew up around Lincoln athletics, but also played for Creighton. Like that makes a lot of sense too. So I think we'll let it pass. Okay, if you just tell us a little bit about the golf journey for you now since leaving Creighton and just kind of coming full circle back here, playing at a pro event and just and out there trying to make a living doing this. How's it been for you?
Well, it's been a wild road. I mean, it hasn't been quite what I expected. Coming out of college, I had a lot of high hopes, and I had a good start at Q school that year. I was really hoping to just kind of get things going and getting right here on the Corn Ferry right away. But God had a different plan with that. And from there, I got to go places I never thought I'd be going across the country and even up through Canada a little bit. So, like I said, it's taken me places I didn't think I would go, and I think it's all been for the better. And it's great to come back here and kind of, after all those years, last 4 years playing professionally, coming back with what I know now and trying to execute out here on a course I've played some good golf at in the past. So.
Okay, I don't want to make you pick a side again, but I'm going to ask you to, and I'll give you some context, okay? So there is a raging debate in my college friend group chat that occurs pretty much anytime a major is played between folks that are on Team Rory and the other folks that are on Team Bryson. So I'm not asking you to pick Liv or PGA, but between those two guys, which one do you like more?
Ooh, man. Is there some beef going on between them?
Well, sometimes,
just,
occasionally,
okay.
occasionally. Some of it is confined to our chat, to be sure.
Okay.
But I mean, Rory does not like Bryson. I think that's pretty documented.
Ooh. All right, if I had to pick, I'd go with Rory.
Oh no,
I'm right there with you.
Dang it,
right there with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I get it. I get it. No. Green jackets. No, that counts. That counts for a lot. I think. Yeah.
People who know me too know I have a theory on DeChambeau that I don't think we have enough time with Nate on here. But anyway, you think about the game though right now as we wrap up here, just as it's evolved too. I don't know what it was like when you were growing up and you were playing the game, but it just seems like, especially since COVID, that it's become a lot more embracing to everyone. And it just feels like a lot more people are taking interest at a younger age. Have you noticed that too, especially when you see some of the younger fans that aren't only here to watch you guys play, but also seen them involved in juniors and whatnot?
Yeah, I've absolutely seen an increase in junior golfers, which is great. Junior golf was the best, out there making friends and just learning how to play the game, getting frustrated. And I mean, we're grateful for our parents that bring us to those things too. They put in a lot of work. So yeah, there's a lot more juniors and golf is growing rapidly. I don't know why, but it's great. It's good to see. It's a great sport. It teaches you a lot. You're outdoors. You're not in your phone or iPad, So being outdoors, being out in the elements and learning how to tough it through some, tough conditions, thick rough, the trees. There's a lot that can piss you off on the golf course. So, it's good for kids to be out there and kind of have that go against them, so to speak. So,
deal with a little adversity. You get a later tee time tomorrow. So as we wrap up, 1 minute left here or so, what's the routine between tonight, getting a chance to sleep in a little bit? What take us through that routine?
Fortunately, they got some physical therapists over there that can help stretch out our bodies and give us any treatment we might need. That's huge. So I'll go see them and maybe hit a few balls on the range, a few putts, a few chips, just to kind of get things out of my system, hit some shots that don't matter, kind of thing. So I just tweak some things on the range or, check some things, I should say, not tweak, but and then get some rest, and then just get right back into the routine tomorrow morning and maybe sleep in just a little bit longer than today.
Should. What time did you have to get up this morning?
What was it, 5:30?
Ooh, all right. Yeah, sleep in a little bit. Enjoyed that. Well, Nate, congratulations on a great opening start and also just being part of the field here too. We're wishing you the very best. Appreciate you spending time with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
As Nate Vaughns joining us here, shot a 4 under in the opening round. Morning wave. That's all wrapped up. Now we got our afternoon group out there on the course here at Indian Creek Pinnacle Bank. Championship continues when we get into hour number 2. Going to be talking to Freddie Coleman of ESPN. Also, Owen Chambliss speaking earlier in the week.
The legend has returned. Sports Talk Huskers. AM 590 WOW Omaha. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The latest big contract in the NFL's running back market belongs to Jonathan Taylor. He and the Colts agreed on the third ever largest deal for a running back, 2-year, $44 million extension, $39 million guaranteed. 2 days ago, Atlanta made Bijan Robinson the highest paid running back in league history. Meantime, the wait for a new contract continues for Detroit's Jahmyr Gibbs. The latest on that from NFL Network reporter Steve Weish.
Now that the market is set with about a $22 million average per year, that's the Jonathan Taylor number. Bijan Robinson is slightly ahead of that. It might not be the average per year number, but the structure. Oftentimes with these types of hangups, it's the structure of the deal once kind of the base salary floor is in place.
The Buccaneers have no plans to trade Pro Bowl nose tackle Vita Vea, according to GM Jason Light. He continues his hold-in at training camp as he seeks a new deal. Vea's agent said yesterday he doesn't see the matter ending in anything but a trade. North Carolina football coach Bill Belichick announced his son, defensive coordinator Steve Belichick, is on indefinite medical leave. No other details provided by Bill Belichick.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, we'll react to the Hall of Fame game, plus two-a-days continues with the Baltimore Ravens and Washington Commanders. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Nebraska weather is unpredictable, but your comfort shouldn't be. When you need reliable heating and cooling, trust John Henry's for professional installation of high-efficiency Lennox systems. Lennox delivers consistent temperatures, quieter operation, and real energy savings all year long. Make the easy call to John Henry's and schedule your free in-home estimate today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
My wife and I were watching television one evening, and we saw an ad come on, and it was for Roof Max. So after I had 4 or 5 people out, he came out, and sure enough, it turned out to be a great process, especially being able to replace some of the shingles that came off. I'd be happy to give a recommendation. You guys do such an outstanding job, and I've watched you all the way through the process, and I just have nothing but praise for how careful and neat and really exacting crew was and what they did.
Learn more at roofrevivenebraska.com or call 402-679-5741.
When the power goes out, everything changes. Your comfort, safety, and peace of mind suddenly matter more than ever. That's why homeowners across the Midwest trust Generators for Sale. From expert guidance to professional installation, their team makes backup power simple. So when severe weather hits, life keeps moving without interruption. Generators for Sale. Power your home. Protect what matters most. Learn more at homegeneratorsforsale.com.
Hi, it's Caitlin, an AmeriCorps member serving with Conservation Nebraska. Here, AmeriCorps members lead and provide environmental education, restore habitats, and connect communities to conservation resources. Through AmeriCorps, I have learned to serve and make an impact in caring for the land we love, the land of Nebraska. We serve, we learn, and we make an impact. AmeriCorps does that for people. Learn more at serve.nebraska.gov.
Visit servenebraska.gov, paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you don't know Jack, call Jill of All Trades, voted Best of Omaha 3 years in a row.
My name is Christy. They painted our whole house and they did some soffit work for us. I would highly recommend Kim. She is fantastic. She has a great eye for detail. Her crew was wonderful. Everything was clean when they left, and it was fantastic.
Call Kim at Jill of All Trades today, 402-905-8144. And don't forget, Best of Omaha voting is going on now. The 7th annual Suburban Rotary Show and Shine has been rescheduled for August 15th at Shadow Lake Collision Center, 84th and F. Proceeds support Suburban Rotary's youth programs. Boomer Radio will be spinning tunes. Boxer Barbecue will be there with their food truck, and there'll be a split-the-pot raffle. Sponsored by Woodhouse Auto Family, Hub International, Equity Bank, the Schubert and Lassig Group, and AM 590 WOW. Show and Shines from 10 to 2. Hope to see you August 15th at Shadow Lake Collision Center, 84th and F.
Give your family the gift of peace of mind by pre-planning your funeral arrangements today. At Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services, their caring staff is dedicated to helping you make your wishes known in advance, easing emotional burdens and reducing uncertainty during a difficult time. With flexible funding options and affordable rates, Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services is here to help you plan with confidence and care. Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services, 2 Omaha locations or online at gsfuneral.com.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen. Give us a call and share your thoughts. 531-895-0590.
Hour number 2 here live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship at Indian Creek. It's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590 WOW. You can get in on the conversation at any point. I'd love to know somebody's most errant golf shot, because it's always fun to know if someone, I know very few people, but that has happened, that have actually struck an individual with an errant golf shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
gonna be hard.
It's always a scary thing when that happens, but either way, 531-895-0590. Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio going to be joining us here talking all things national sports, and
he's out on the Rams. We're maybe not out. He's questioning the Rams.
Someone's got him.
I'm going to ask him about that. I am very, very interested to hear.
You don't
his
feel like
case.
it's authentic? You don't feel like you think Freddie's just creating
no.
content?
Freddie is probably as authentic as they come, I would say.
Freddie's going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit about obviously some NFL, but he was very opinionated also on the Dodgers trade deadline as well. So we'll get all things with Freddie coming up in a few minutes here. As we again circle back to some of the takeaways, is Nebraska now wrapping up day number 2 of fall camp. It's quiet for the most part, and that's what you like. We're going to hear from the coaches on Saturday, including Matt Rule, so we'll get a little bit more from the head coach on.
It's fan day, isn't it?
It is fan day as well. That's right. They're doing that on Saturday. Kind of, I always feel like they used to do that the eve of fall camp.
Right.
Now I think they're just kind of taking maybe more of a lighter approach, do it on the weekend, allow the fans to get out there on a Saturday and, make it a little bit more of a big deal. But I think everything continues when you think of the optimism internally that this program has. You look at the moves that they made. It's one thing to say it, but as the saying goes, you put your money where your mouth is. I think what type of investment that this program put into their offensive line and just seeing the overall confidence that Anthony Calandria has, TJ Lateef has. We've heard from the wide receivers. They all really like those guys up front, and that's the good thing to say right now, especially early on, especially if you're Calandria too and trying to stay clean. But Paul Mbenga, and he's one of those guys.
Man, was he good?
Yeah, he had a chance to speak a little bit on those side sessions. We have that audio, I believe.
Yes, we should. And Justice, I want to start, especially as it kind of ties in to our discussion surrounding chips and chips on shoulders.
Chips on shoulders, not just
or bags of chips.
or
bags of
Ruffles
chips.
or,
If you're talking to Pat Fitzgerald at Michigan State,
Yeah.
The other side of it is entitlement. And while I don't know how much entitlement there really was last year, I think you can say, given the amount that's trickled out here from Matt Rule and now through Paul Mbenga players, there may have been some ego issues last year at different points. That's what I'm reading between the lines. Here's Paul Mbenga on sort of what they want to see from the offense, and specifically ego. He mentions that in his press conference, his side table session.
I feel like that came pretty well. There was no ego knowing that I've been here or somebody's been there, but we all see each other the same, and to benefit each other, we have to, in order for us to have the success we want to, everybody has to be consistent. Everybody has to show up and do the work that they need to do, and it can't be just 4 guys and 1 is missing. So the ego is definitely out of the picture, and it's just been a brotherhood, just trying to hold each other accountable no matter what we doing, and whether it's just lift, meals, show up here, workouts, whatever it might be, just hold each other accountable, knowing what's expected of us.
The ego is out of the picture. I mean, come on, you don't hear that and not
he said it multiple times,
yes.
too. He said it multiple times. So it does kind of perk your ears up a little bit, at least it did for me, of thinking, and we talked to a lot of those guys last year, from Latofsky to Kanak. Love talking to Rocco Spindler.
Nobody on that offensive line struck me as somebody who would act that way.
Right. Like,
so I don't think he's talking about that.
Henry Latofsky was one of those guys that was as humble as apple pie. Rocco Spindler, who came from a national championship appearance with Notre Dame, he was brought in, got paid some money, and he was brought in to be the guy, and I always appreciate him. Hell, the guy played through what was it, the finger injury?
Yes,
that he had,
the dislocated finger
that they
against
popped
Minnesota,
back in.
Yeah,
like there's just
out the skin.
There was a lot of guys that we had a chance to interact with on a weekly basis that I didn't think of them as braggadocious or having these major egos. So it did intrigue me of where that came from. But the fact that that's a point of emphasis, maybe it wasn't necessarily the offensive line, but maybe it was a collection of the team, that maybe there were some egos there that needed to be checked, or some humbleness, because as we also learned too, I think there was some strife within the coaching staff on some of the guys that were button heads, and some of the guys that were either ill prepared, or they would take offense to, Matt Rule's criticism, and they had thinner skin than you would like in those situations.
This is, to me, a situation where he's not saying there was ego on the offensive line last year, because he wasn't there to experience it.
Right.
This is him, we're like receiving a message that is, I think, coming from top down this year about operating holistic. Out operating the offense without ego, calling plays without ego. And then you hear, okay, we're not doing special teams just to be great at special teams, and the ego associated with that, right? So, like, it's clearly been an emphasis top down that springs from a problem a year ago with having too much ego involved, right? Like, you don't just suddenly come back the next year and say, we need to be operating with less ego, if you didn't have a problem with that the year before.
Yeah,
I'm not big read between the lines guy. Like, generally, I think people try too hard to read between the lines. That is too obvious to ignore.
Well, and it does. It circles back to how we were discussing and this was the Tom Chattel thing of the entitlement versus the chip on the shoulder of, you can internally be very confident about what you're about to embark on in 2026. But until you have proven that on the field, there needs to be a little bit of that sense of urgency, that chip on the shoulder. And I think it's okay. You don't necessarily have to do the all-out Bo Pelini approach of it's us against them, us against our own fan base or anything like that. But to have that type of edge, regardless of who's making what money or anything, I think that's very, very healthy for this group. But to hear that the ego brought up, look, if there's an ego, but it's founded, because you've got some guys that are just flat out great ball players, and you're seeing the results on the scoreboard to back that up, have an ego. I don't care.
Right.
But it's having the ego where
ego at the expense of your teammates.
Yeah, and you're falling short in certain areas, and that overall totality of the season is falling short of what your internal expectation as a team should be.
Yeah.
That, to me, is where the ego has to get checked a lot. And I just feel like that's kind of been the message of this entire group being humbled. And I thought Paul Mbanga illustrated that with what he said.
The other thing he had to say that caught my ear was just talking about sort of the focus of the offense and maybe priorities of things that you would like to be good at first and foremost.
Aside from the experience, is just knowing what we can do. At the end of the day, if we're not confident in our own skill set, then what's the point? And that's one thing we've talked about a lot during this offseason, and it came to pass that this is something we enjoy doing, running the ball. Now, obviously, we got a great quarterback, great receiver core, and that's one thing we're also going to rely. But at the end of the day, we want to run the ball. We want to take over the game. So that's one thing that we came to conclusion as a unit, obviously.
I don't think you're ever going to find an offensive lineman who's going to come up to you, Nick, and say,
I want to pass block.
I would rather pass first. I think
I would actually love if somebody said that.
I think most linemen that you talk to,
it'd be refreshing.
But that's part of the mentality. You have to play the position. Yeah. You have to be willing to impose your will on the guy across from you that is inches from you, that's huffing and puffing because you made him do that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's part of it. But if you are thinking like, okay, are things going to change? Like, Nebraska has to be able to run the ball and run the ball well. That has to be a focus for this year's
Is this
team.
a run the damn ball take?
I mean,
It is.
kind of.
It is.
Kind of.
I know what Grant's opening script would be.
Oh, if I was calling Nebraska's drive against Ohio.
Fullback belly, fullback belly, fullback belly.
No, I think it would still be read option, halfback zone, play action. But like that's the thing. Like, run the ball first. You have to be able to run the ball well, just like you did a year ago.
There's always going to be that exact line said, no matter what offense you're playing, you're right. But I think that when you assemble a group that can carry that out, and this is where I go back to the mentality of Jeep Wade, and we were hearing about this all the way in bowl prep, of the amount of guys that loved Donovan Raiola, loved him, but also acknowledged that there was a different type of approach coming from Jeep Wade that they also appreciated in the early going of that.
Right.
And that's only continued when the offensive linemen have been asked about Jeep Wade. They love what they're learning from him, especially from a technique standpoint. And I think when you get a bunch of guys together that have played a lot of college football, maybe not necessarily together next to one another, but have been through different battles in their respective conferences, and then they're coming together to play in the Big Ten, where regardless of the evolution of offense, it's still very important to run the ball. It's still very important to be into that rhythm as a unit, to where you feel like in the second half that you're winning those battles and that you're starting to make those 3 and 4 yard gains, 6 and 7 and 8 yard gains, all of that, all the cliches when it comes to being able to tee off on the guy in front of you. But more than anything, I think of that, the overall change, the major change that we've seen with this offensive line from a year ago. The amount of veteran offensive linemen, both on the interior and of the tackle line coach.
Last year, Jeep Wade at Georgia Tech engineered an offensive line that generated 5.5 yards per carry, 8th nationally. I mean, last year, Nebraska did a great job running the ball. It was largely off of one guy. Can you distribute that now?
Yeah.
You give guys a chance to get a breather, and so you're not putting that much weight on one guy throughout the course of a season.
And you know what? It goes back to that old question: which running back will benefit the most from that? If that's indeed what is happening up front, see, it all comes back to the running back position.
It all comes back to the running back room.
We're going to step out, talk some NFL and Major League Baseball and anything else in the national world of sports with Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio. He joins us right after the break. It's Handley and Hansen live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship here at Indian Creek on AM 590 WOW.
Say aloha to bold island flavor at Hawaiian Bros. Surf the savory wave into juicy huli huli chicken, luau roasted pork, spicy kilauea, or Molokai chicken. Then chill it down with a light and refreshing Dole pineapple soft serve. Hawaiian Bros offers catering and group meals, making it easy to impress your guests without the work and let the luau begin. Now in 3 Omaha locations, it's never been easier to take your taste buds on a mini vacation at Hawaiian Bros and eat like you're on island time. Hawaiian Bros, serving summer to Nebraska year-round. Now open in Elkhorn.
I'm Dave Nabby, and for 40 years, I've helped family business owners plan how to hand what they built to the next generation. And here's what I've learned. Most family business succession plans don't fail because of the tax code. They fail because of the family. The child is brought in too soon, the one placed in a position they can't succeed in, the key executive who quietly leaves because nobody respected him through the transition, and the estate plan is drafted for a business that was a fraction of what it's worth today. I've watched families lose the business and siblings stop speaking. I've watched grandchildren grow up in homes torn apart by the decisions that could have been prevented. So I've written a free guide called The 10 Mistakes Parents Make When Selling Their Business to Their Kids. It's drawn from 4 decades of sitting across from families just like yours. If you own a family business and you're thinking about handing it to your kids someday, this guide could save your family and your company. Get it free at Nabity.com. That's Nabity.com. I'm Dave Nabity, and let's do this the right way.
Omaha heat can be brutal, and a broken AC makes it worse. If your system can't keep up, call Controlled Comfort for fast, professional cooling service. Their certified technicians diagnose issues quickly and restore comfort when you need it most. Stay cool, protect your system, and avoid costly breakdowns. Homes and businesses alike enjoy reliable indoor comfort through the hottest days of summer across Omaha all season long. Schedule your service today at ControlledComfort.com.
Controlled Comfort keeps it under control. Yeah.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Back with you folks here at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. Indian Creek here in Omaha, Grand Hansen. It is Handley and Hansen awaiting the return of Nick Handley, who has gone off to find the restroom. Hopefully he wasn't, I don't know. There's all sorts of horrible things that have befallen Nick this week. And, oh, he's fine. He's fine. Here he comes. See,
Find the bathroom,
okay, well, now you succeeded. Yeah, exactly. Largely, you succeeded. Okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah, excited to bring in our next guest because
yes,
this man, no matter what station I've ever been on, and no matter, I mean, this goes back like 15 years. Freddie Coleman, who is an absolute sports radio icon on ESPN Radio. You hear this amazing, the dulcet tones of one Freddie Coleman, kind enough to be joining us here, talking whatever we want to talk about. But Freddie, it's great to have you back on our show. I know we're happy to be back on ESPN Radio, but my gosh, man, it is good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing well, but hopefully a lot better than you with your bathroom escapades. Let's put it that way.
It was okay. There's no bad food. It wasn't like I'm trying to think. It wasn't like a Paul Pierce situation or anything like that. So
right.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, nothing like that. But,
I'm glad you're able to survive that. So welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Freddie, I know it's been a big topic for you guys on your show as well, but when it comes to training camp and it comes to just what the Rams are trying to do, and you look at all these teams that are trying to contend, and just some of the offseason moves, the Myles Garrett, that addition, I know you acknowledge what the Rams have done, but maybe – Freddie, you still there?
Yeah, I got you guys. Sorry about that. You dropped out for a second.
Oh, no, all good. I just want to get just kind of sum up the question. I just want to get your take on the
Yeah, Freddie, going to jump in here real quick. Just wanted to get your take on the Rams and the moves that have been going on, the Myles Garrett trade, what's been happening. What are your quick thoughts on the Rams?
No. Okay. All right, well, the issue, Mr. Handley.
Why is this happening?
It's pretty hot out. I think that's part of it. Is that I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Hopefully we'll get Freddie back here and reconnected there with Justice. So the Rams add Myles Garrett. Now yesterday Aaron Donald comes into the picture.
Yep.
And I think that is do we have Freddie back here? I'm seeing signs that we may have Freddie back with us.
I'm here. Yes, I am.
Okay, now the question actually is probably better that are we with Freddie?
Yes.
Which we are. So
yes, we are.
Okay, so Nick was asking you about the Rams. Are you sold? Are you sold on the Rams, or are you thinking people are overselling them?
I think whenever you make those kind of adjustments and those acquisitions, you bring in a Myles Garrett and potentially Aaron Donald is going to come back. You also get a Jalen McDuffie at the cornerback position, one of the best corners in the National Football League. I think people are going to oversell the fact that they should be the odds-on favorite, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. But I also caution people that it is so hard to win playoff games, have a playoff run, no matter who you have on your football team. And for all intents and purposes, when you have that kind of pressure, I can't wait to see exactly how the Rams are going to deal with that, because this is the first time in a long time we could look at the Rams and say they're above everybody else, not on the same line as everybody else in the NFL going into the season.
Freddie, if let's say Aaron Donald does go all the way through and he worked out with the Rams yesterday, let's say he joins them. I mean, is LeBron or Aaron Donald's choice to continue, in LeBron's case, his career with the Sixers, and now Donald's case with the Rams, which one is the actual case, if any, of ring chasing?
Well, put it this way. I've never gone after people trying to chase a championship ring, but the difference is Aaron Donald's coming back to his football team that he played for in the National Football League. And LeBron James, for better or for worse, whether you like it or you don't like it, he's always going to make sure the team LeBron is going to be taken care of. He did that when he left Cleveland to go to Miami, and from Miami to go back to Cleveland, and Cleveland back to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's different this time because I got the sense LeBron James never wanted to leave the Los Angeles Lakers, but they decided to move on from him before he decided to move on from them. So they made that choice very, very clear for him. So you can say both of these guys are chasing rings, and it's an accurate description involving LeBron James now the Philadelphia 76ers, and more than likely Aaron Donald coming back to the Los Angeles Rams. But there are worse things to chase in professional sports, and if you're trying to chase a championship, you're just doing it in a different way when it comes to Aaron Donald coming back to the Rams and LeBron James joining up with another team.
Talking with Freddie Coleman, it's Handley and Hansen here on AM 590, WOW, ESPN Radio. And Freddie, I want to get your thoughts on the overall takeaway. Baker Mayfield, look, he's betting on himself. He's trying to make that case that he is a franchise quarterback. Apparently, he's been told that he's the franchise quarterback. Do you feel like this is a case of Baker maybe not getting his due propers on this, or do you understand where the Buccaneers are coming from on this one?
Well, I understand that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming from because for all that Baker Mayfield has been able to be for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the majority of it has been positive, you still have to think about that this is still an older quarterback. And can you really say he's no longer a yeah-but quarterback in terms of believing you can be a championship team? And there's always been that with Baker Mayfield, and that's been part of his superpower, that anybody that has doubted him, he really takes it personally. He goes out there, he plays to a really terrific level. He did with the Cleveland Browns. He did it at Oklahoma, resurrected his career with the Los Angeles Rams. We've seen him do that so far with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if you're the Buccaneers, you have to hedge your bet and say, if we're going to commit $55 to $60 million, is this the guy that we want to commit that money to when it comes to Baker Mayfield? So he can feel undervalued and disrespected, and I completely understand that if you look at everybody else's numbers on your tier and you know your numbers are better than theirs, but those guys have gotten paid already, there's going to be that sense of disrespect being felt by Baker Mayfield. But now what are you going to do about it? You go out there and prove the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right? Because if you prove them right, then they get another quarterback, and then you got to start all over again somewhere else. If you prove them wrong, guess what's going to happen? They're going to pay you the money, and this way you no longer have to play the disrespect card anymore.
Freddie, who's the greatest college football villain you can remember?
Oh, without question, it's Brian Bosworth. I don't think there's any doubt about that for Oklahoma. And I saw that list from Ryan McGee today at ESPN.com, and I don't know so much Steve Spurrier was a villain. He's more of a pain in the behind, a wiseacre, always making those kind of jokes. I'll never forgive him. He said you can't spell citrus without UT because Tennessee couldn't be Florida when he was the head coach. I never regarded Steve Spurrier as a villain. But Brian Bosworth, there were people on his own team that didn't like him but played with him. There were plenty of coaches that didn't want to coach him but had to because of his talent. That's what makes a villain to me. When you can be a villain on your own team, but they know you're the lesser two evils and you have to put up with it. For my money, ever since I started watching college football, Brian Bosworth has been the ultimate villain above anybody else in the history of college football.
What's the quality a villain has to have? Like, what makes a villain in college football or sports generally?
Boy, that's a really good question. I guarantee you that's something we're going to dive into today on Freddie and Harry with me and Harry Douglas. And from my purview, I think the kind of villain that no matter what that person does, when they win, you don't want that person to win. When they don't win, you celebrate it, even if it's not your own team had a chance to make sure they didn't celebrate. To me, that makes a villain. There are plenty of teams that people don't like, but didn't make them villainous because when they won, it was like, oh, darn it, they won. But hopefully my team can get them next year. When a villain wins, it feels like a part of your soul has been taken away. Like everything you did not want to happen did happen. I compare villain to when you have somebody, and one of my favorite game shows is Jeopardy. There's always a champion. You say to yourself, boy, I'd be glad when they lose because there's something not likable about that person. And when they lose, it feels like you are on there taking them down. This way you get them off Jeopardy and have somebody else. That's what a true villain is to me, that when they win, it really takes away your soul. But when they lose, boy, you can't celebrate enough against that person.
So as you described that, Freddie, I'm thinking just the most recent news in Major League Baseball with the Dodgers and getting Tarek Skubal and the trade deadline. Are the Dodgers kind of in that ilk of maybe outside of Dodger fandom, the villain of Major League Baseball right now?
I understand it from the standpoint of they are the Guardians of the Galaxy right now, assembling their crew with the kind of money that they have. But you have to have unlikable players. Shohei Ohtani is not an unlikable guy. Mookie Betts is not an unlikable guy. Tarek Skubal is not an unlikable guy. There's really nothing other, if you're a Giants fan or a Padres fan, that you could look at that team and say, man, oh man, I hope they don't win. I don't want to watch them. The Dodgers are eye candy. They play a fun style of baseball. They play in one of the best stadiums in the history of Major League Baseball in Chavez Ravine at Dodger Stadium. There's not a person, in my opinion, on that team you look at and say, I don't like that dude, and I hope they don't win because I don't want him to be celebrated. I don't see that with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Freddie, I appreciate you joining us, man. I want to let you know before you go, I want to thank you because I'm not sitting here without you. I remember listening to you nights on ESPN radio on this signal, 590 in Omaha, night after night after night. So I can't thank you enough. You're integral to me sitting here today. I'm glad to have you on our show.
Well, it is always my pleasure. And you know what? Now we don't have to be strangers for much longer anymore, so we can do this again and again and again because I really like to have that happen.
Remember you said that, Freddie, because I'll probably just text you about it in an hour, see if you can come back on a little bit later on.
That is not a problem. You do that, and I'll be here for you, my friend, okay?
Thank you, Freddie. Appreciate it, man.
Anytime, guys. Have a good one.
It's Freddie Coleman, one of the greats. I mean, you talk about all of the different voices that have been on ESPN radio, and we talked about how awesome it is to have Mike Golick Sr., and then also we got a little bit of Mike Golick Jr. before they broke away from ESPN, but having those guys back on, especially Mike Sr., who was a staple in morning radio, Freddie Coleman has been one of the long-standing voices of ESPN radio. He's moved from a couple of slots here and there, but you think about all of the turnover that has come in ESPN radio over the last couple of decades.
25 years now, right?
Yeah, the one constant has been Freddie Coleman, and you could talk to him. I could probably bring up the Pinnacle Bank Championship scoreboard right now. He'd probably have some type of insight on what's going on and would have probably a pretty good breakdown on Nate Vonce's round of 4 under.
Well, here's the part that I didn't tell him. The time slot that I did listen to him in was nights. And I would listen to him as I went to sleep every night growing up. Now, he didn't put me to sleep. He definitely didn't do that. But that's what, I mean, every time it was about 10 o'clock, it's like, all right, time to go to bed, get ready for school in the morning. We're turning Freddie Coleman on. I'm going to turn the radio on, go fall asleep, wake up at 2 a.m., unplug the radio, and move on with my day. But he wasn't putting me to sleep, but he was an integral part of my nighttime routine.
Watch how you phrase that.
Integral.
I thought a home run of a show, and we just so happened to have both of them on this week. Him and Ben Stevens doing a show together because they are extremely good at giving you solid information, but they speak at a cadence and a swiftness that gives you so much information, and they get right to the point that you're just like, holy cow, how'd you guys do? I'm sitting there like, that's me. And these guys are just like, and it's not, they sound like they are prepared. Like we sent these questions that we're going to ask them
in advance.
And that's just how they talk. That's how they process things. I think Ben Stevens, it's why, and they're both got great sense of humors too. Both of them though, process any type of question thrown at them so fast with great information that those two together, I think would be pretty amazing. I'm gonna text Ben on that.
Yeah, you guys. Well. Yeah, you have the numbers.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Ben Stevens know.
Start a podcast.
I got a new one for you. Speaking of the question that we had asked like 3 times because we were getting cut off, Aaron Donald, who did a workout with the Rams. Now, the reason it got reported is kind of an interesting little rule from the NFL, but he's not the only former organizational icon or impact player that got a workout as well. So, Cam Chancellor. Getting some work with Seattle. We'll get into what to make of either one of those. Talk a little NFL. We're going to do so also tomorrow with our good buddy Parker Gabriel on the Broncos, and then later on talking some NFC North with Carmen DeFalco as we continue here from the Pinnacle Bank Championship from Indian Creek. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
There's never a good time for a garage door to quit. Stuck halfway, loud as a freight train, or just done. When it happens, go to Langfeld Overhead Door. 25 years fixing and installing doors all over Omaha. Free estimates, and they get out to you fast. New opener, broken spring, or a full replacement, one call handles it. Request service now at langfelddoors.com. That's langfelddoors.com. Get it working right.
Does your athlete struggle with confidence? As a parent, you can see it. Your child has the talent and the work ethic, but lately something's different. They're overthinking, playing nervous, losing confidence after one mistake. The physical skills are there, but now it's time to train the mental game. Iron Minds Coaching helps young athletes build confidence, improve focus, and perform with greater composure under pressure. Because confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. Schedule a consultation today at ironmindscoaching.com.
Think you know your stuff? You're invited to pit your knowledge against Handley or Hansen in Generational Beef Trivia, sponsored by the Pit Barbecue Lounge, every Friday at 4 p.m. If you're a boomer, you get to pick Gen X or Gen Z questions, while the boys will have to answer boomer questions. If you outsmart them, you'll win a $25 gift card to the Pit Barbecue Lounge, just off Highway 370 and 72nd. Generational Beef Trivia with Handley and Hansen, Fridays at 4 p.m. Brought to you by the Pit Barbecue Lounge.
Hi, this is Dave Navity. Every Saturday, right here on AM 590 WOW, my show, Saturday Mornings with Dave Navity, is the place to be. 6 to 9 every Saturday. We'll cover news, politics, current events, and anything else my brain decides to conjure up. One promise, it'll be entertaining, and it'll be the right way to start your Saturday morning right here on AM 590 WOW.
Feeling stiff, sore, or worn down? 42 Degrees may be able to help. Their knowledgeable team listens first and explains wellness-focused options for everyday comfort with no pressure. Learn more at 42degrees.com. Trusted by Mom.
Looking for Omaha's best tacos, wings, and tequila? Look no further than the Corner Kick Cantina, where tacos and tequila reign supreme. Our unique Midwest Mex experience blends the bold flavors of Mexican cuisine with the warmth of Midwest hospitality. Voted best of Omaha for tacos, it's the perfect spot to enjoy delicious food and catch the game. Whether you're gathering with friends, colleagues, or family, the Corner Kick Cantina has it all. 3 Omaha locations, online at thecornerkickcantina.com. We would appreciate your vote again for best of Omaha for tacos and tequila bar.
Did you know the Salvation Army of Omaha provides 8 main programs and services for people in need around the metro? Food, housing, mental health, youth development, material assistance, older adult services, anti-human trafficking, and emergency disaster services. We're here to help no matter what the time or season. For more information, just go to salarmyomaha.org. That's salarmyomaha.org.
The Summer of Performance event is going on right now at Acura of Omaha. Now it's time for you to take advantage of these low payment lease offers at Acura of Omaha, 4211 South 144th Street. Always open at AcuraofOmaha.com.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen. Give us a call and share your thoughts. 531-895-0590.
Back with you, folks, at Indian Creek and the Pinnacle Bank Championship. Day 1 of 2 for us will be here tomorrow as well. And don't forget, on Friday, Handley and Hansen next week, the 14th, will be out at Cross-Train's newest location. And we'll be there with Sports Nightly as well. A full 6 hours live on location. Can't wait to be there with Kyle Crooks, Jessica Cootie, and, well, Nick Handley as well.
Yeah, I'll be there.
It'll be fun. You can swing by. You can grab a Cornhusker Crusher while you're out there, the official craft beer of the Huskers, or any of the other fine offerings that the Cross-Train folks have to give to you.
180th and Maple. That's the spot, folks.
That is the place.
That's the spot. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. So if we're to take a look at the current Rams depth chart.
Oh, yeah.
And just looking at what they have up front, and having that addition to Myles Garrett in the offseason on what was already a pretty decent defense to begin with, especially in the back end and Trent McDuffie. So you look at, I wouldn't even say solving a issue, because their pass rush last year wasn't that bad, but you get the most elite pass rusher in the game in Myles Garrett, but then you also get a slam dunk of a corner in Trent McDuffie that you are essentially bookended on that defense, and also solid linebacking core. But if I were to throw in maybe a little bit of reinforcement with Poona Ford at Aaron Donald, who did work out, and as many of you remember, the Rams still hold his rights, that he retired at a relatively young age. A lot of people would say that he retired in his prime, and which is maybe not as uncommon as that would have been 15 years ago. But Aaron Donald potentially getting that itch, seeing that this is that existing window for a Rams championship again, that maybe he could be a part of, because he did do a workout with LA yesterday.
I don't, it's just like Freddie said, like, I don't begrudge a guy a chance to go get a championship. Like, this whole idea that was surfacing out there, and that's why part of why I had to ask him that question. But like with LeBron, it was people were saying he was ring chasing wherever he's going. It's like, yeah, he's got a right to put himself in the best situation to win a ring. The same thing is true of Aaron Donald, who has been 2 years retired, now has the pieces around him where, look, I don't have to carry the weight of this defense. In fact, I can actually go out there and give 100% for 15 to 20 reps over the course of a game instead of 50, right? Like, it is not going to be on him for them to be successful. If he doesn't play a down this year, their odds, plus 550 right now, to win the Super Bowl don't change a bit.
Yeah.
And their chance and their internal belief as a team of their ability to win the Super Bowl will not be diminished in the slightest. So it's a situation where there's really no risk to any of the parties involved to Donald joining the team. It's a win-win for both groups. Now, of course, the pressure builds on the Rams to actually be able to deliver on all their preseason expectations. Nick, there has been 2 times in the last 8 years that the odds-on preseason favorite has actually went on to win the Super Bowl. It was the Kansas City Chiefs in 23, and then the New England Patriots in 2018. You also had the Chiefs, who were plus 600 to win the Super Bowl, depending on which book you look at, for 2023. The Rams are under that on FanDuel right now at plus 550. So there's even more backing for the Rams, I feel like, now than maybe some of the other preseason favorites that we've seen in the last 10 years.
I get back to the Aaron Donald thing, because when Myles Garrett came over in that trade, a lot of people were starting to sort of rediscuss the possibility of Aaron Donald coming back. And there was a lot of folks on the inside that said that he at least had expressed an interest in returning. I am curious on the ultimate motivation of when Aaron Donald left and why he wanted to leave compared to the ultimate motivation of returning.
Sure.
Of if you are not, and I think it's hard for anybody to expect him to pick up from where he left off and just be that absolute dominant force when you're out of the game, even for a year, if not longer, that is unrealistic. But can Aaron Donald, is he okay with accepting a role that would be, I don't want to say to Ford would be a complimentary piece, but is it a guy that, you know what, I'll come back with the squad and I'll provide some depth. I'll provide some, down and distance situational help, and I'm cool with that? Or does Aaron Donald just have that one-track mind and motor because he's not that far removed from his best football that he would be like, you know what, either I'm all in and being used as much as I was before I retired, or I'm not doing this at all. To me, that's what the real interesting part of this is, because I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's realistic that he can come in and just hit the ground running the way that he did when he left the game as well a few years back.
No, and I think if he rejoins, he knows he's going to be complimentary. And that's part of the
That's
selling.
Why I'm curious.
That's part of the selling.
That's why I'm
point.
curious if he's cool with that, though.
That's part of the selling point. You don't have to go in there and wreck the game on your own. Myles Garrett can do that. The rest of those young dogs up there along that defensive front with Garrett can do that for you. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, I'm fully aware of that.
And they've done this before.
I just think of the dog in these athletes and the level that they were playing at. They left it all behind them. They got out while the getting was good. And then I know, like, Andrew Luck has always been asked about that when he retired really early, and people are like, would you want to come back? And he's like, no, because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm a shell of myself at any point. I want to get away and still have a life and the health part of it as well, which I get, especially for a defensive tackle. But the mentality of these guys, that's to me what is so intriguing about Aaron Donald is, can you go in at the same type of skill set, both physically and mentally, at a lesser role compared to what you were when you left? That to me is what is really fascinating about his overall mindset in a potential return with the Rams.
He's got to be thinking about that Super Bowl season and what they did with Eric Weddle, because they've done this before.
Yeah, but we're talking about a defensive back to a defensive lineman.
That wasn't 2 years, but there was still a lot for Weddle, who had retired at that time and was originally brought in under the premise of, hey, we're not going to ask you to do that much. We're going to ask you to be out there for a little bit. And then by the time they were playing in the Super Bowl, he was pretty much every down. So, like, I almost worry on the other side of it, is it a situation where he's sold, hey, look, you're going to be a complimentary piece. We're not going to call upon you to do everything. And then, oh, by the way, actually later in the year, we're actually going to need you to play just like you were before. It might be the other way around. Now, I think he's certainly up to that. I don't think if he's not okay with being a complimentary piece, there's no way that he goes through the trouble of working himself up and being ready to go. Like, he's got to, if you're willing to come back and you know all the pieces that are a part of this Rams team, you know that there's going to be a chance that you're just doing this to support your teammates. And he's not that type of guy that is that demanding, I don't think, of what his role should be.
I would bring this up because some of the things that he did so well, and the thing that I loved about Aaron Donald not only was just his initial force and point of impact off the snap was better than anybody, and it wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
But his basically hand-to-hand combat technique, and he did a lot of that. I remember them doing all these different stories on working with boxing, working with martial arts, and being able to have those quick hands to be able to fight through blocks. There's a lot of those motor skills that it's not like he's sitting around eating Cheetos this entire time,
right.
too. I know Aaron Donald is taking care of himself. I'm not saying that, but some of those instincts and that quick twitch that he had, all of those little things, I would be so fascinated if he doesn't have that, if he's okay with it, because he's given this a shot. But if he gets to that point of like, I'm not as effective off the ball, I'm not the same type of guy, are you okay with that? I'm not saying you or Rams fans. I'm saying him as the individual. Is he okay with that?
Well, then there's no point of getting yourself spun up then.
That's why I'm trying to figure out, is this he is all on board and he's working himself to be part of this roster, or if he's just trying to see if he still has it.
As a Giants fan, I hope he waits until at least after week 2 to consider himself ready.
Yeah, and I mean, and again, that's why I think I'm not trying to completely dismiss your comparison to Eric Weddle and him, but we're talking apples and oranges when it comes to.
But they don't need to sprint him. Like, the other thing is they have a much bigger runway than they have with Weddle. Like you could add him. You could spend the entirety of September and October getting himself ready to go, and then not play it down on the field for the Rams until November, and they would be just fine. In fact, there's an argument to be made that's the strategy that you want to take with him.
But I'm just talking about the position itself, the demand that it takes on your body as a DB compared to a defensive lineman too. Are you ready to go back into that? All of these things
got to be.
Find very, very interesting when it comes to Aaron Donald as a potential return with the LA Rams for a team that just continues to load and load and load up. I got a question on one of those things that maybe some of you don't even know that's going on tonight, and that is the official opening of the NFL football season. Did you know? Hall of Fame game is just around the corner. In fact, hours away. We'll get into that. Also coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking some Owen Chambliss and that chip on the shoulder mentality for Nebraska football. Handley and Hansen continues live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship at Indian Creek on AM 590 WOW.
The AM 590 WOW app is here. Download it now at 590WOW.com or in your app store. You can take AM 590 everywhere. Every Husker game, every ESPN show, every Handley and Hansen broadcast. Anywhere you feel the need for sports talk and more, AM 590 WOW is right there with you. Get the app now at 590WOW.com.
When it's worth celebrating, make it a destination. Make it the Ballroom at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, Nebraska. Just minutes from Lincoln and Omaha. From I Do to The Last Dance, your special day deserves the space, the setting, and the atmosphere you just can't get in the city. Out here where the sunsets are better and the moments mean more. Dates fill up fast, so don't wait. Visit roundthebendsteakhouse.com and book your wedding with The Ballroom today.
Nebraska weather keeps you guessing. It's sunny one day and snowing the next. John Henry's knows that kind of weather whiplash can really put your home comfort system to the test. If your furnace is still hanging on and your AC is about to clock in, now's the best time to make sure everything is ready. Make the easy call to John Henry's today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kaiser, founder of Kaiser Wealth Management. For nearly 3 decades, Kaiser Wealth Management has been helping navigate important financial decisions with confidence. We take a personal approach and take the time to understand your goals, your concerns, and your vision of the future. Whether you're preparing for retirement or looking to better organize your financial life, discover the difference at Kaiser Wealth Management. Contact us at kaiserwealth.com. We're here in Omaha. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Talking about Deshaun Watson, $230 million guaranteed, and gave up 3 first-round draft picks amongst other draft picks in order to get you. And you've had one good half of football in that time. If he starts and gives them anything, they should be like, hey, thanks. See you later. They should be relegated if they bring him back.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings 5 to 9, AM 590, WOW.
Summer evenings just seem better when you have a home you truly love. Imagine relaxing on the patio, hosting the grandkids, or simply enjoying the peace and comfort of a beautifully crafted home designed for the way you live today, specifically for you. At Edward Custom Homes, our homes are maintenance-free, so you can enjoy company in your backyard. No mowing needed. Award-winning, maintenance-free homes at Edward Custom Homes in a growing Elkhorn community. Book your private tour at edwardcustomhomes.com.
Here's your updated Metro weather outlook. A blend of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 82. Partly cloudy tonight, lows dip down to about 68. Right now, it's 79 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki, and that's your updated Metro weather on AM 590 WOW. Online at 590WOW.com.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Wrapping up hour number 2 here live at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW. Going to be back out here tomorrow from 2 to 6. And again, if you're going to make your way out to the tournament, come on by. We've got a special cool golf logoed AM 590 WOW thing that I don't want to give it away too much right now, but if you can show us that you've downloaded the app. Well, if you're watching, you saw it. But if you can show us that you have downloaded the app, and that's maybe where you take in some of our content, either live or podcast, be sure to do so. And if you haven't downloaded the app, you still have time, and you can come out to the Pinnacle Bank Championship tomorrow. Just go to the Apple or Google Play stores, or you can go to 590WOW.com. So we'd love to see you out here at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. We're just talking to a caddy.
Yeah.
His guy did really well, 6 under. Really appreciate Nate Vaughn stopping by after his 4 under round. So some good scores here early on at the Indian Creek Golf Course here at the Pinnacle Bank Championship, 10th year. So tonight we've got the Panthers and the Cardinals to kick off the NFL season.
Sickly
Do you want a line?
Yes.
Carolina laying 1.5.
1.5. That's pretty close. I mean, look, I'm surprised it's not larger. What we've seen coming out of Cardinals camp, the clips that have surfaced have not been the most flattering. I can tell you that. 1.5. Who's betting on a preseason game?
The Sharps. The Sharps are betting.
Somebody who's really crazy.
We might have to get this gentleman on. He grew up in Bellevue. He's been in Vegas for like decades now. But Scott Spreitzer, he was one of the guys that Joe Quinn had brought to our show, and he was awesome. And I remember he loved handicapping and getting in on the preseason action. Now, the Hall of Fame game might be a completely different animal, because if you are any type of projected starter of significance, you're not playing a lick. In fact, you're probably not even suiting up.
You're not playing a lick in almost every one of these games, except you used to have the tune-up game.
Yeah, the week 3
that would be week 3 that you would play basically a half. But even now, guys barely even lean into that, I feel like. Also, the quarterback matchup tonight, Kenny Pickett, who I forgot was on the Panthers, and now I know. And then Carson Sid the Sloth Beck will get the start for the Cardinals. So that'll be, I don't know. I mean, is it interesting? I might watch just to hear the NBC theme. Just hear the drum,
Wait, dude, what?
The drum solo leading in for the NBC Sunday Night Football theme. I would listen to that. Yeah, but there's a drum solo that kicks into that. Anyway,
you're into that.
That would be the only. I mean, yeah, just to feel something. But the rest of the game,
Grant wants to feel something again.
The rest of the game isn't going to make me feel anything.
So
probably, unfortunately,
is this where we are in well, I know it's pro sports tonight, but college sports too. Are you just looking to feel something again? Like, just make it mean something to me.
Oh my God, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till the actual real games and real stakes kick off. I mean, Nebraska kicks off its season 30 days from today. 30.
I'll be honest. The game tonight will be on in the background at the Handley household, and there very well could be a rivalry going on between that and trying to jockey time for Super Mario Brothers 2.
You guys still haven't finished that?
No, we have. That's the thing. You get a kid who loves the show.
Rewatch it again?
He has to watch it all the time. So that could be happening. And this is anytime the Hall of Fame game, even when the Bears played it a couple of years back, it was more background noise to me. It was kind of fun to hear maybe some of the storylines about camp, which you can get yourself inundated with.
It's like a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, it's just basically promoting and marketing both organizations and then the upcoming NFL season and some of the dignitaries that are represented by both teams, and then of course the Hall of Fame as well. And it's fine, it exists, but yeah, when it comes to my excitement, my NFL meter, which I have, and that first Thursday of the regular season, this does very, very little for me.
Why did they pick these two teams? Is it because of the people that are going in? Because I know Larry Fitzgerald is going in.
Yep, I think that has a lot to do with it. I think the year the Bears played, I think that was the year Steve McMichael, when Mongo was. I mean, he was hanging on, man, just hanging on, having Lou Gehrig's disease. So that was a memorable moment, and I think that was the same year that they played. So that would make sense.
Giants last played in 2014. That was the year Strahan went in.
Yeah. See, I think I bet you just answered that. So I've never really answered that or asked that question.
The induction ceremony is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be fun tomorrow. We will probably do this tomorrow, is to go through who could be in next year in the Hall of Fame and debate. Eli Manning. Let's get him in there. I'm sure you disagree.
The only reason I disagree because it gets Dave Tollefson really, really fired up. And anytime
you don't want to see Dave Tollefson fired up.
There would always be times that I was always curious if
he's pro Eli. I'm assuming.
Oh God, yeah. That anytime that we would have a conversation, I'm like, I wonder what Dave Tollefson's up to. Instead of texting him, which any normal person would when you're trying to reach somebody, I would just bring up in an impromptu manner the Eli Manning Hall of Fame, deserving first ballot Hall of Fame considerations or not. And I would, of course, say no for first ballot. And then I would immediately get a text from Dave Tollefson. I'm like, oh, see, there he is. He is listening. So that's how I'd always gauge what was going on. Or he would text me a day or two later.
Okay.
And that maybe he heard it second hand. He's like, oh, I heard you talking about my boy Eli. And so that was always kind of fun. But, I mean, I am somebody, in all seriousness, I value the rings. And it's not just the rings that Eli won, but the teams he did it against, those Patriot teams that were amazing. Might have been.
Well, one of them was the best. I mean, one of them was the best team that Tom Brady's ever had.
Yeah, I mean, during the Tom Brady era.
It didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yes, exactly. The Tom Brady era, the amount of rings that he won with the Patriots, the best team he ever played for, didn't actually win a ring.
Yeah.
And that was because of the Giants.
This is why I always come back to yes. One, because I'm a Giants fan. Two, because my kind of thought is, can you tell the story of football without ex-player, coach, or executive? Can you tell the story of football without Eli Manning? Well, the answer is no.
No.
Certainly not, because he's played in two of the more exciting Super Bowls of this century.
And he factored in a major way. It's like okay, I could counter that and be like, if he had a Trent Dilfer type appearance,
right?
Or
he did nothing
with that,
absolutely nothing in the game.
You leaned on your defense and you leaned on your running back and your
running
game,
and
that's great. And it was a winning formula.
But he made the throws to win both of those Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So
are you present in the moment, or are you just a pedestrian like Trent Dilfer was? And I feel like I'm making fun of Trent Dilfer. I'm not.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer's got a lot of unexpected trades. This was not on the prep sheet for the
I'm
day's
just saying,
show.
There's a quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl game. There's a quarterback that can just be listed as the starting quarterback for that particular game. That's the difference between guys that have won a ring and have won a ring but probably don't deserve Hall of Fame consideration. All right, we're halfway home here at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. Coming up in hour number 2, we're wide open. Probably going to talk to a golfer or two as well. Owen Chambliss had a chance to talk to the media. I want to take a look at the defensive side of things here into fall camp. Also get into the chip on the shoulder versus the entitlement conversation. Handley and Hansen live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship on AM 590 WOW.
Turned Sports Talk Huskers. AM 590 WOW Omaha. This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. As they did in the spring with quarterback Daniel Jones and top receiver Alec Pierce, the Colts handed out another big payday. Today it was to running back Jonathan Taylor. 2-year extension worth $44 million, $39 million guaranteed. Third largest deal for a running back in NFL history, and it keeps him off next year's free agent market. Coach Shane Steichen.
He's one of the best in the league, when there's no doubt about it. And to get him signed to that extension is huge for our football team. You never want to lose great players, and he's a great player. Obviously played his whole career here. He's a home run threat, makes a ton of plays for us. You know, when we need to play, he's usually the guy that makes it.
Buccaneers GM Jason Light told reporters he has no plans to trade Vita Vea. Pro Bowl nose tackle looking for a new contract recently requested a trade. North Carolina football coach Bill Belichick said his son, defensive coordinator Steve Belichick, is on medical leave and out indefinitely. No other details given. Baseball, Mets routed the Guardians 13-6. Cleveland's lost 11-14 and is a half game back of Texas for the final AL wildcard spot.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
You care about this community. And at United Way of the Midlands, we turn that care into action and impact right here in the Omaha Council Bluffs Metro. When a family is working hard to stay on track, United Way and our partners connect that effort with additional support so families can keep food on the table, stay in their home, and move forward with stability. Together, your gift goes further, keeping essential services within reach for families across our community. Make a difference today at unitedwaymidlands.org.
Are you frustrated with your current pharmacy? Well, you're not alone. There's a better way. VRX Pharmacy in Omaha, 1 block north of 90th and Dodge. I'm Charles Tomlinson, a pharmacist at VRX. At VRX, we take the time to get your medications organized, simplified, and tailored to you. Plus, we deliver. We work with all providers, accept all insurances, Medicare and Medicaid. Call VRX today, a better way to get your medications.
Make the call, make the change today. VRX, the better way, the better way.
The 7th annual Suburban Rotary Show and Shine has been rescheduled for August 15th at Shadow Lake Collision Center, 84th and F. Proceeds support Suburban Rotary's youth programs. Boomer Radio will be spinning tunes. Boxer Barbecue will be there with their food truck, and there'll be a split the pot raffle. Sponsored by Woodhouse Auto Family, Auto Owners, and Smith Davis Insurance, Dundee Bank, Cruise Planners, and AM 590 WOW. Show and Shines from 10 to 2. Hope to see you August 15th at Shadow Lake Collision Center, 84th and F.
Losing someone you love is never easy. During life's most difficult moments, having caring people by your side can make all the difference. At Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services, you'll see compassion in every face and feel comfort in surroundings filled with light, love, and cherished memories. For traditional funerals, cremation, personalized tributes, or veteran services, Good Shepherd Funeral and Cremation Services. Locally owned with 2 convenient locations, North 90th and the newly expanded chapel at 82nd and L. Learn more at gsfuneral.com.
When the power goes out, everything changes. Your comfort, safety, and peace of mind suddenly matter more than ever. That's why homeowners across the Midwest trust Generators for Sale. From expert guidance to professional installation, their team makes backup power simple. So when severe weather hits, life keeps moving without interruption. Generators for Sale. Power your home. Protect what matters most. Learn more at homegeneratorsforsale.com.
The AM 590 WOW app is here. Download it now at 590WOW.com or in your app store. You can take AM 590 everywhere. Every Husker game, every ESPN show, every Handley and Hansen broadcast. Anywhere you feel the need for sports talk and more, AM 590 WOW is right there with you. Get the app now at 590WOW.com.
Summer evenings just seem better when you have a home you truly love. Imagine relaxing on the patio, hosting the grandkids, or simply enjoying the peace and comfort of a beautifully crafted home designed for the way you live today, specifically for you. At Edward Custom Homes, our homes are maintenance-free, so you can enjoy company in your backyard. No mowing needed. Award-winning, maintenance-free homes at Edward Custom Homes in a growing Elkhorn community. Book your private tour at edwardcustomhomes.com.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Kicking off the 4 o'clock hour live from Indian Creek, the Pinnacle Bank Championship, the 10th annual Pinnacle Bank Championship here as the morning wave has wrapped up. We've got afternoon tee times off and running. This thing will probably wrap up usually between 6:30 and 7 o'clock tomorrow. And the thing I always envy for the ones who have to set the tone, and we talked to Nate Vance, former Lincoln Southwest product and Creighton alum as well, who had a solid morning, 4 under for his opening round. You set the tone. It's kind of one of those things where I think you get to do it a little bit more under the radar. People start arriving a little bit later. And then the beauty of that is by the time everything's kind of, getting a little bit more lively, you're done and you get to sleep in on Friday because then you get the later tee time on Friday. And look, Friday's trying to stay on the better side of the cut line too. So for those morning guys, I get it. You had to wake up early. I think he said he had to get up about 5 a.m. But needless to say that sleeping in tomorrow, I'm sure will be great. But
sun
awesome.
Finally broke out here.
It did. It's warm, but we got a little bit of a breeze, which it feels like it's kind of knocking a little bit of the humidity down too. So very
helpful.
Comfortable, very comfortable out here. And big thank you to Jessica Brabeck and her entire team here at Pinnacle Bank Championship. We got a good site here. Just off to our left is where we can see the first tee box, but we haven't been so loud that they've had to give us the quiet sign.
That's good.
So that is also good. If you want to get involved on the show here on Handley and Hansen AM 590 WOW, do so by calling 531-895-0590. Also, you can email us, Nick at 590WOW.com, Grant at 590WOW.com, and Justice at 590WOW.com. We haven't heard from our man Justice. Justice, how are you, by the way? I'm just checking in because we can't see you right now. He's back at the 120th and Dodge headquarters.
Oh, look out. Dive bomb by a bumblebee.
Oh, I thought a golf ball was coming by. Why not?
No. I mean, last time I made that sound, there was a sign. Where's Justice?
Justice, are you good?
Are you alive?
Everything happening over there?
It's okay, fellas. We're doing all right. Just making sure that nothing, decides to implode, set on fire. Nothing goes wrong here. You guys are out of studio, so I'm assuming no objects will come flying from the walls, but I'm making sure to duct tape everything out just in case.
Yeah. No, nothing has happened yet. We're going to get to some Owen Shamliss audio and talk a little bit about his role with this defense, that linebacking core too. But we were talking about the Hall of Fame game.
Well, and
in our previous segment.
I just happened to stumble across this, like literally during the break. This is a crazy tweet. So the referee tonight for the Hall of Fame game is Craig Rolstad. You may remember him from the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So as a rookie field judge in 2003, he made the force-out call on the Josh McCown and Nate Poole touchdown pass on the final play of regulation that put Minnesota out of the playoffs and Green Bay in with that Cardinal victory. But the other part of the ripple effect was that it also took Arizona's 2004 first-round pick. It moved it with the win from number 1 to number 3. And with that pick, they selected Larry Fitzgerald, who is going into the Hall of Fame on Saturday.
Do you think they selected him to be the official for that reason?
No. They would have had to do some pretty in-depth research to come across that.
You go through that type of web. I don't know if Next Gen Stats actually has that.
You know, I don't think they have that as a category.
But that's pretty impressive.
But there you go. Little bit of a note for your Hall of Fame game viewing tonight, if that's what you intend to do.
Hey, you never know the stories that could come out of it. Maybe 10 years later, you're going to be looking at this game tonight and be like,
it, yes.
I had no interest in that game, but look what the Panthers got out of this entire deal.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So getting back to day number 3 of Husker Fall Campus in the books. So we're off and running. And it's great to think that we are less than 30 days away from a kickoff of the 2026 season in Nebraska and Ohio. But we kept hearing mad scientist when Rob Orich was being described. We kept hearing about the presence of Rob Orich, especially the linebackers, which I think given his connection with that position, but also I'm telling you, one of my ultimate favorite coaches on the Matt Rule staff in Rob Dvorak, who I was so happy that he was retained even under new leadership on that defensive side. And I think that just speaks volumes of what Rob Orich, a guy who also coaches linebackers, thinks of Rob Dvorak. That you look at that group, and it's been hit or miss. I think last year, just between Buda Wright and the guys that
he was good. He played. I mean,
just not.
He produced.
But
he led the team in sacks.
He did, but the consistency was maybe. I don't even say that. Not the consistency, because I think that was maybe there. It was the playmaking as a guy that I thought from that second level of the defense could create, like we talked about the other day, some of those turnovers that Nebraska was looking for, because he's a guy very active with his hands. What he went through as a player, I can't even imagine. Like, and Javen Wright always had a smile on his face. Like, he is just one of the ultimate dudes. There's no question. Still. This linebacking core, I mean, really led by Owen Chambliss. When you think of the guy comes in with the highest production from the previous season, even though it wasn't with Nebraska. Vincent Shavers is another guy that you want to see. Okay, now 2 years in the system. What does he look like? I'll never forget when we're watching that Pinstripe Bowl. He was playing like a man possessed his freshman year.
And he forced the fumble in the Cincinnati game. Now, the problem was that, you know, some of that playmaking ability or those highlight moments from him, apart from those 2 games, have been somewhat missing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Am I off on that? Like, he made several huge critical plays in the Pinstripe Bowl. And he set the tone really, really well with that opening kickoff game in Arrowhead against Cincinnati. He forced a fumble in that game. Man, after that, we didn't see the same amount of pop plays from him that maybe you thought there could be with those 2 games coming essentially back to back, even though you have a whole off season in between.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about. We talk about the swag and the overall, confidence that we talked about it. We were talking about yesterday with Landry. There's some bravado with certain members of this defense and Owen Chambliss, but it's not just like his belief in himself, but his belief in Rob Orich and this defensive group. And for me personally, that's refreshing, because you're going to need one of these levels. I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't know. One of these levels, not just to be the strength of this defense, but to be dominant.
Sure.
And I feel like the potential for each level of this defense could be the linebackers. I think it could be that level of defenders that are going to be the guys who wreak havoc. Now, again, what the defensive line does it put them in position to be effective? That's the whole part of, thinking about Owen Chambliss and some of these other guys, is this defensive line, if they can mature, if they can take the steps up like a Riley Van Poppel, Cam Lenhart that we want to see in this year, what does that do for this linebacking core?
Yeah, and it's a situation. I can't remember who was saying it to us. Do you remember? Somebody was telling us a little bit about just not muddying up the waters anymore. That this defense would simplify things, which is what Chambliss was saying, right? Simple, fast, violent. Mm-hmm. That's what this defense under Rob Orich is supposed to be this year. God, who was that? I can't remember who it was. Later on, well, maybe I'll remember. But like that really made things make sense to me, right? Like, okay, if it's a little muddy about what gap you're supposed to be filling, that makes sense why all the angles sucked. Like, so
it was Jay Moore. Jay Moore
talking about Jay, yes, that was it. Thank you. So like that's a important part of it for me.
We got Owen Chambliss audio, do we not?
We do.
Okay.
We should.
I don't have the list in front of me.
Well, and I think that simple, fast, violent clip from him is a piece that that we clipped yesterday. I was just struck by his intelligence, I think. But with both these guys, like Paul Mubenga was the same way. Guys that you're like, okay, this is the type of guy that I want at this position, at the helm, and also like organizing my defense, saying, okay, this is the question, this is the answer to your question about this defense. As you start to become familiar with it, I've already lived it, and going from there. So that's a big piece of it for me.
Yeah, I want to hear that. Just that clip here. This was from Owen Chambliss. This was on Tuesday when he got a chance to speak to some of the media on the side. This is him talking about just, again, what Grant just alluded to, being simple and violent.
We live by simple, fast, and violent, and I think that's the way it should be. We're simple pre-snap and then multiple post-snap. Or multiple pre-snap and simple post-snap, my bad. But, simple, fast, and violent is what we live by.
So, again, multiple, was it pre-snap and then sorry, just like finding the right balance in between those two things. And again, like Jay was saying yesterday, just cleaning it up, making it less clearer than mud at the very least.
I think that I know that I don't want to completely bring up John Butler and the terminology and all of a sudden point at that and say, this is why Nebraska was weak on the run. Okay. Because dudes got to be dudes there.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that losing Ty Robinson and Nash, that was going to be a big hit. But we're also believing that under the development of both Terrence Knight and then Braden last year, those guys could be imposing forces. But I am always curious when that's the overall theme, the simplicity of it. And, not only being gap sound, but understanding, why maybe you missed on that particular rep or why you hit on this particular rep and having that explained. I don't know this off good authority, but it was always my impression that when it came to the hierarchy of that defense, from John Butler all the way down to certain position groups and whatnot, it just always seemed like there was some type of disconnect. Now, at the end of the day, I'm putting this on the players.
Sure.
At the end of the day,
got to go execute.
Those players got to play. And I don't think John Butler is a incompetent defensive coordinator that didn't know what he was doing, or Terry Braden was some type of incompetent defensive lineman that didn't know what he was doing. You don't get these jobs. Matt Rule doesn't allow you to be a part of that staff if you don't know what you're doing. But there was some type of disconnect, I felt like, when it did come to, especially within games. And when you're trying to solve the problem, when teams are just gouging you, we always talk about that boundary outside run there, that near side boundary. Nebraska would always get beat to the corner. And, thinking of the defensive line and their inability to secure that and to make that adjustment, it got so aggravating. And that's where all of a sudden I'm like, okay, yes, the players first and foremost, but why is there not that adjustment?
Mm-hmm.
Where is that major adjustment to? And maybe it is what we're hearing. Maybe things were a little bit overly complicated. It's not being simplified. I don't know what I heard from Owen Chambliss and what this defensive group talks about right now, what it's necessarily going to mean when it comes to the major areas of improvement this defense has to have. But it's interesting to hear about the simplicity and the nature of that and how effective it can be.
In context of what Jay talked to us about earlier this week, yesterday, that to me was really interesting about, especially how those two things sort of tied together. Simple, fast, violent, sign me up for that.
We led the show off talking entitlement versus chip on the shoulder. I want to get back to that when it comes to the fan base of Nebraska, because I thought that also struck a nerve with me as well. Also, college football superlatives. We will be discussing that in about 20 minutes as well. Don't go anywhere. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Your backyard could be the best seat in Omaha. Crone Landscape Construction has spent 40 years building them. Paver patios, retaining walls, outdoor kitchens, fire pits, ponds, and landscape lighting, all designed and installed by the same local crew that's been doing it since 1986. No call centers, no franchises, just Gary Crone and his team and work that holds up. Get on the schedule now for fall. Call Crone Landscape at 402-779-3377. That's 402-779-3377.
Register to win a whole house generator from AM 590 WOW and Generators for Sale with the Generac Power Play giveaway. Log on to 590WOW.com and tell us what you want to protect when the power goes out, and you'll be registered to win a whole house generator installed at your home, valued at nearly $15,000. There's other great prizes too, like a portable generator and smart home devices. Don't be left in the dark. Register today and see contest rules at 590WOW.com.
Tired of aches slowing you down? 42 Degrees supports everyday wellness with trained, approachable staff and clear guidance on comfort-focused options. No guessing, no pressure. Learn more at 42degrees.com. Trusted by Mom.
Superior Honda of Omaha has immediate openings for highly motivated new and used car sales professionals. High volume, great benefits, incredible support. Apply online at HondaofOmaha.com or call Eric Curtis at 402-612-9126.
Does your athlete struggle with confidence? As a parent, you can see it. Your child has the talent and the work ethic, but lately something's different. They're overthinking, playing nervous, losing confidence after one mistake. The physical skills are there, but now it's time to train the mental game. Iron Minds Coaching helps young athletes build confidence, improve focus, and perform with greater composure under pressure. Because confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. Schedule a consultation today at ironmindscoaching.com.
Set the Bar is more than just your typical sports bar. It's where women's sports is a movement and not just a moment. Don't worry about dinner either. Set the Bar has smash burgers, side-out chicken sandos, and wings with 6 different types of sauces, all with an option for everyone, from vegan to vegetarian to gluten-free. Get rewarded for watching Husker or Creighton volleyball with our punch cards. 1 punch per day for watching games to earn an appetizer. And enter for your chance at the grand prize. Set the Bar. Online at set-thebar.com.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Bucks playing a dangerous game when you allow a quarterback to go into a lame duck season. It doesn't typically work out for the franchise. It sets a tone for the upcoming season. If he's not all in, it's hard for the rest of the locker room to be all in and to buy into a team-first agenda.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Every weekday morning, AM 590, WOW.
Jeff Ballinger here from Gorilla Car Wash. What's bugging you?
I'll tell you what, Jack. The bugs are everywhere. Whether you're running up to Okoboji or down to the Ozarks, you get back home and the car is full of bugs. Thankfully, Gorilla Car Wash has a wonderful double pass to take care of that.
Yeah, and it's touchless. That's great.
Touchless is wonderful. Your windshield wipers are still on, as are your side mirrors.
Yeah, it's Gorilla Car Wash. Where can you find those 8 locations?
GorillaWash.com.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Back with you on Handley and Hansen. We are live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship here at Indian Creek. Grant Hansen alongside Nick Handley. It's AM 590 WOW. Nick, you were alluding during the break. We've talked a lot about entitlement today at various levels, largely coming from the conversation that Tom Chattel was laying out earlier this week as it pertains to the future of Nebraska football, that there's been too much entitlement perhaps over recent years and not enough chips and not enough scrappiness perhaps that he hopes that this year's team might have in Lincoln. But there's an angle there. There is an application for the fan base as well, you think?
I think so too. What I kind of drew from this was knowing that if you talk to, and I'm just going to use this as an example, Iowa fan will always bring up, oh, Nebraska living in the 90s. Oh, they're living in the 90s. And you guys are so entitled. You feel like you should, be a part of the national championship conversation because of what you did in the 90s and yada, yada, yada. I think there was truth to that. probably as recent as probably 2010, 2011 when Nebraska was going to the Big Ten.
That's fair.
I think
last time Nebraska made a conference championship.
Yep. I think the fact that Nebraska was that close to playing in the BCS bowl game against Texas in 2009. And I think that there was some renewed optimism that Bo Pelini had kind of finally had that breakthrough in 2009 with the Ndamukong Suh-led team, even with a terrible offense, that there was a formula there, and Nebraska could be that type of team in the Big 12. They just showed against, Big 12 superiority in Texas that they were right there with them step for step, a team that played in the national championship, that Texas team.
Yep.
But since then, since the Big 10, not only have the wins not come at the clip that they were coming, at least when Bo Pelini was there, but you then go through the Mike Riley era, and that wasn't great. Then you go through the Scott Frost era, which everybody thought was going to be the savior, and bring it right back to, at the very least, the 9 to 10 wins that Bo Pelini was getting. Well, we know that didn't happen.
Yep.
And then even Matt Rule trying to exercise some of that bowl drought demons, and he does so in his last 2 years, which was positive. But what I would say about this fan base during that decade of football is it's been a humbled fan base. And I still, to my core, believe one of the most tired narratives about the Nebraska fan base is that they're living in the 90s and they're entitled. Because as the fan base has gotten younger and younger, they haven't experienced that. So you're not hearing them sort of puff out their chest and talk about, Nebraska. No, they're like, I would love to experience a 10-win season. I'd love to experience, being in the top 25 all throughout the season. I think that day and age of the entitled Nebraska fan, I think, is actually more on the side of the Nebraska fan, much like we were talking, or Tom Patel was bringing up, would like to see this team, the program itself, have the chip on the shoulder mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fans not only could benefit from that, but I think they already do. I think this team, if they have that underdog feel, is one thing. I think this fan base, because you were talking about this when we first came on the air a couple weeks ago, and that was the overall interest level in this season. It has been so tamped down and subdued compared to anything that you can remember. And I think a big reason for that is this fan base doesn't start counting national championships and just saying, oh, everything's going to be okay. Or start counting Big 10 championship or Big 12 championship appearances and say, oh, everything's going to be okay. No, they're wondering where the ultimate ceiling can be with this football program in the 2026 era and going forward, in this new college football era. I think every intelligent Nebraska fan, there's a lot of intelligent Nebraska fans out there, I think they understand what they're up against. And I think there is that chip on the shoulder as opposed to this entitlement.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, the expectation or the perception that Nebraska fans generally just expect national championship or bust, year in and year out, a la Alabama, it's just not true. I mean, the fan base just wants a return to competitiveness, first and foremost. I think you could get there again, don't get me wrong, but there's a far greater faction of the fan base that is pessimistic about everything regarding Nebraska football now than delusional regarding the expectations.
It's that word right there, delusional, that everybody would throw out. Oh, Husker fans are delusional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the future of this whole thing comes down to, can you continually build on the foundation that has, I think, been set? The floor that's been set. Now, that goes back to a conversation we had in the first week, too, is what if the bottom drops out this year?
Yeah.
What if you've got the floor, you believe going into this season that the floor is set at the very worst 6 wins, potentially a 7th during a bowl game. That's the worst that they can do. And then they don't hit that this year.
Yeah.
Now what happens? Because then you really start to see a change in the level of interest and the certainly the expectations, and whether or not anyone feels any level of entitlement. I don't think anybody in the fan base feels entitled to anything other than, I guess, perhaps cheaper ticket prices at certain things. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't think people, and by the way, sometimes they have a right to feel that.
I was just going to say, isn't it okay to feel entitled when it comes to those things? Because despite some of the not so stellar seasons, they continue to show up.
Yes. Yeah. So like there are some instances where they actually are quite legitimately entitled to that.
Yeah.
But just like broad writ entitlement, I don't think it's there. At least in the fan base. Now the chip on the shoulder part, I don't know if that's there either. You know, like when you take it to now, the question thing is, does it need to be?
How does a fan necessarily show that they have a chip on their shoulder? I think they, maybe the chip on the shoulder part of it.
Well, that shows up. I mean, that definitely shows up, because if you have a large faction of the fan base or anybody online saying, well, just look at us then, just look at us in, 2 years, just look at us in November, let's circle back then and talk then. I think some of that exists with Nebraska basketball.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some of that. But for football, no. I mean, people are, more entitled to inflict pain on themselves than they are entitled to regarding hypotheticals.
And I get it. I don't want to make it sound like I'm so naive to believe that the reason those expectations will always exist with this program and why people want it so bad is because they put this thing right in front. I mean, it is the doorstep of the athletic department. I mean, the resources that go into the football program, you want to see the result that will come with that. But maybe the chip on the shoulder isn't the right thing, but the fan base, I think, and it's kind of crazy if you step back and think, this fan base, I think, is the underdog. I think they understand.
They want it for sure.
And I think they understand what's still in front of them with the challenges that exist in college football, that at one point in the college football era, I'll be 90s guy for a second, Nebraska was at the front of that. They were on the cutting edge of that. Since then, so many people have caught up, and it's become an arms race that Nebraska, whether it's the conference from the Big 12 and the stranglehold that Texas had, or going into the Big 10, Nebraska fell behind that. And so they're still trying to catch up, and then also try to stay on top of the ever-changing college football landscape when it comes to spending money and resources available and facilities. They have made so many big strides when it comes to some of those ancillary things, but that's all well and good. The winning at the clip that Nebraska fans had once experienced, that needs to return before you quit feeling like the underdog as a fan base. And I think that's where Nebraska fans are right now.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. Also, breaking news, by the way, from ESPN, Jahmyr Gibbs has agreed on a 3-year deal extension with the Lions, valued at about $75.75 million, which makes him the NFL's now highest paid running back. With that, at this point, you've got all the big running back deals done during camp, with Bijan Robinson, who got his yesterday, along with in Philly, Jonathan Taylor. So, or not Philly, in Indy, Jonathan Taylor. So now you got those three guys all signed to extensions, and we're kind of seeing a turn on valuations of running backs too. So just even thinking earlier this morning, listening to Unsportsmanlike on the way in to work, Bijan had 700 receivers. His production as a receiver last year for the Atlanta Falcons was on the same level of a second-tier receiver. So, I mean, the impact that he has on their offense, he is their offense. And certainly I don't really foresee that changing with what they have at quarterback with Tua and then Michael Penix.
College football superlatives, we're going to get into that here coming up. Also, before we get out of hour number 3, Purdue's new AD trying to rekindle that rivalry against Indiana and Kurt Signetti. Is that what you really want to be doing? But I guess there's shots being fired.
You have to win first.
That's true, Purdue. And that drum, got to be banging that thing a little bit harder these days. But we will get into that and more. Of course, your calls welcome, 531-895-0590, as Handley and Hansen continue live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship here at Indian Creek. It is AM 590 WOW.
Have you heard about, or better yet, have you seen Sony's revolutionary new RGB TV? It's a game changer. Critics are running out of superlatives. It's 1.5 times brighter than previous TVs, and the color detail is quite simply breathtaking. If you love watching movies or sports, let the guys at Custom Electronics blow your socks off with a demonstration. Sony's new True RGB TV at Custom Electronics, 75th and Pacific.
At John Henry's, we know when the lights go out, life doesn't have to stop. John Henry's installs Generac home standby generators that automatically power your home during outages, keeping your HVAC running, your refrigerator cold, and your family comfortable. Generac generators are built for reliability and peace of mind. Make the easy call to John Henry's and schedule your free in-home estimate today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Hey friends, step up to the tea at Bushwood Lounge, Omaha's home for handcraft cocktails done right. From the perfect old-fashioned to creative signatures, every drink is made fresh. And here's the sweetest lie on the chorus. Happy hour runs 2 to 7 every single day with $1 off every drink. That's right, every drink. Bushwood Lounge on the north side of 114th and Dodge in Omaha. Great cocktails, great company, no membership required. Bushwood Lounge, your happy hour headquarters.
There's never a good time for a garage door to quit. Stuck halfway, loud as a freight train, or just done. When it happens, go to Langfeld Overhead Door. 25 years fixing and installing doors all over Omaha. Free estimates, and they get out to you fast. New opener, broken spring, or a full replacement, one call handles it. Request service now at langfelddoors.com. That's langfelddoors.com. Get it working right.
Have you been to Deers Ford lately?
We may not be the biggest dealership around, but we strive to be the best. And Fremont agrees. We've been honored with 9 Best of Fremont awards, including Best Place to Work, New Car Dealer, Pre-Owned Car Dealer, Locally Owned Business, Tire Store, Auto Repair, Glass Repair, Body Shop, and Best Oil Change. See why so many drivers choose Deers Ford Lincoln. Visit us today at DeersFord.com, Fremont's best award-winning dealership.
Have you been to Deers Ford lately?
Imagine this. It's 7 a.m., you're late for work, and now your garage door won't open. Or worse, it's stuck open all day while you're gone. Suddenly, your home is wide open for the world to see. That's where Spring Kings come in. As the fast and friendly garage door experts, we don't just fix what's broken, we make sure it stays safe. Broken springs, worn cables, faulty sensors, we find it before it costs you having to deal with the neighbors seeing your treadmill turn clothes rack all day. Spring Kings Omaha. We would appreciate your vote again for Best of Omaha. Online at springkingsomaha.com.
Le Peep has been Omaha's favorite breakfast destination for a reason. Whether you're meeting with friends for brunch, catching up over coffee, or enjoying a family breakfast, Le Peep serves fresh, made-from-scratch favorites you'll come back for again and again. Pair your meal with a handcrafted coffee made from locally sourced espresso and discover why Omaha has voted Le Peep the #1 best breakfast for 19 years. Stop by one of our 4 convenient locations and taste the Le Peep difference for yourself.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen. Give us a call and share your thoughts. 531-895-0590.
Back with you here at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. It's Indian Creek, and it's AM 590 WOW. Grant Hansen, Nick Handley, 531-895-0590 is the number to call. Last week, it was On 3 that put out their list of the college football schedule superlatives. This week, it was and is ESPN. And both lists, Nick Handley, selected Nebraska's non-conference schedule as the easiest non-con in the Power 4. What say you?
Without looking at every major FBS college football program and their non-conference schedule, I'll just look at Nebraska's in the microscope and say it is very manageable. And I think this is where I think for certain teams that need to try to stack the wins, it's easy to get in that conversation of what the Big Ten and the SEC want to do going forward. Do you need to always schedule a Power 4 team? Will we get to a point where the SEC and the Big Ten are aligning themselves to play kind of a Big Ten SEC challenge, if you will, like we see in other sports? But look, I'm never going to cry foul over this. And I know people are like, well, of course, you're on a Nebraska radio station. You're going to say that. But the conference itself, and I think the SEC can say this too, the conference themselves provide enough challenges that as long as you're not making a scheduling habit of this and you're trying to avoid the FCS schools as much as possible, and I know Nebraska's got North Dakota on there this year, but if you're avoiding that at all costs, or at least getting a solid every couple of years, solid Power 4 program on your schedule and a competitive matchup that I think is also going to be very enticing for your fans, I don't have a problem with it because of what you are going to experience in conference. And Nebraska is a perfect example of it, where it's funny. You could talk about their non-conference schedule being the easiest, but then what do we all come back to on why we will not go all in on Nebraska making a major jump from a year ago? Because of the schedule, and it's because of that conference schedule. You just never know how it's going to shake out.
And it is interesting. You play 5 teams that are ranked in the preseason coaches poll, and if you had Tennessee still in there, that would have been 6 in one season. I mean, so that is a ton, right? And so here's the thing. To me, the easiest Power 4 non-conference schedule has to be Indiana. By far. So, again, they play North Texas, who just got raided by their head coach who went to Oklahoma State and took all the best players.
Yeah.
Then they play Howard, the Fighting Kamala Harrises, who were 5-7 last year.
Right.
And then they wrap the whole thing up with a Western Kentucky team that plays Georgia the week before.
Yep.
And they just axed the Notre Dame series off their schedule. Now, some of that is so that we keep Notre Dame USC alive. I get that. But that is by far the easiest. Now, I think most people in these rankings series are picking Nebraska just sort of to get a rise out of Nebraska fans.
Oh, sure, because
they're not going to get as much of a rise out of Indiana fans about this. But
Right.
to me, it's clearly Indiana that has the easier schedule between the two. Now, Nebraska is probably second. Not denying at all that Nebraska is in theory ridiculously easy, but even North Dakota, I mean, that is a team.
They took a jump.
That is a team that is going to be dangerous in the FCS ranks.
Yep. They
so,
took a jump.
I mean, come on now. They're 10th. They're 10th right now, top 10, I believe.
Well, and kind of to your point about Indiana, and yes, if you put Nebraska in the crosshairs of something like this where it has a negative connotation, you're going to get more clicks on it. You're going to get more reaction out of it because the fan base is that of a passionate and rabid fan base. Indiana, I think they're continuing to build that, but also I think for Indiana in leaving them off of that, there's probably also going to be that built-in respect of what Indiana has done in the last 2 years under Kurt Cignetti, that non-conference schedule be damned. That did you see what they did with the schedule they had last year in conference play? Did you see them be able to run the table, have an undefeated season? That Kurt Cignetti's lost 2 games in his 2 years at Indiana. I mean, so if you look at it from that standpoint too, there's going to be a little bit of that, I think, that built-in bias. It's not just going off of the upcoming year, but the last 2 years under Kurt Cignetti.
And if you play the type of schedule that you play in the Big Ten, look, you can. If you're going to play 5+ ranked teams, there's no reason to necessarily have to play 6.
I
mean, that's where I come down on that. Toughest Power 4 non-con schedule went to Georgia Tech. They get Colorado, Tennessee, and then Georgia. I mean, that is a bear right there for Georgia Tech.
I'd agree. I'd say that's pretty damn tough.
Easiest overall schedule, Texas Tech. Toughest overall schedule in the Power 4, Ohio State. Last year, the Buckeyes, then, of course, you had Texas, and then just number 17, Illinois, number 15, Michigan. So that was last year's schedule before they, of course, lost to Indiana in the Big Ten title game. But they go, again, Texas this year, which will be on the road. Then Indiana, USC, and Oregon. And that is all in a row. So, I mean, the Buckeyes have a real test. Of course, they play Nebraska in Lincoln in November. The Huskers' lone home game in the month of November. The toughest month of November went to Oklahoma when they go to Florida, and then Ole Miss and Texas A&M are also that month. I believe Missouri in there too. And then there's save the dates, October 10th and October 17th. So if you have a fall wedding on these days, I'm sorry.
Amazing.
But you have Oklahoma, Texas, of course, in the Cotton Bowl, Georgia and Alabama. USC will head to Penn State to take on Matt Campbell. October 17th is Ohio State, Indiana, which is a rematch of last year's Big Ten title game, of course. Then you've got Alabama and Tennessee, Notre Dame, BYU, Florida State, Miami, and Penn State and Michigan. So, I mean, those 2 weekends right there are massive, massive weekends for college football. So just some also-rans that weekend. Auburn, Georgia, Arizona State, Texas Tech, Florida, Texas, Missouri, Ole Miss, Kansas, Kansas State, TCU, Baylor, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, and North Carolina and Duke.
I want to get back to Nebraska for a moment, too, because I've never asked you this question, and I know everyone kind of has a certain opinion when it comes to, are you for or against the FCS schedule, of having the occasional opponent from the FCS on your schedule? I've worked with co-hosts that absolutely no way, shape, and form should you ever have an FCS opponent on there. And I've seen others that are open to it. I've talked to others that are open to it. And I'll be honest with you. I don't love it. I don't like to see a habit of it. But I also respect, especially here kind of locally in the Midwest, between the success that South Dakota State has had, North Dakota State has had, North Dakota has started to turn a corner a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing some of those programs be able to use that money and build some facilities, you know, those guaranteed game checks that they're getting for playing up a major level. I do think there's something to be said about trying to preserve the FCS model as much as you can. I don't think it necessarily has to be to the expense of fans that want to see better matchups at their home stadiums.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it on occasion, and sometimes the challenges of scheduling home and homes with tougher competition can be exactly that. I don't mind it. I just don't want to see a habit of it. I'm not sure where you stand on that.
Well, the whole thing's going to change. I mean, if they actually expand to a 2014 playoff at some point down the line, and they go to 10-game conference schedules, and the Big Ten and SEC agree to do a Big Ten challenge, maybe everybody schedules an FCS team there in their one other non-Power 4 non-conference game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what actually ends up becoming the solution, or maybe you're playing a lower group of 5. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't really know where things are going to go.
Right.
But, you know, the future is so uncertain in terms of that, in terms of how the stakes of the teams, or the sports pinnacle change, determine what's all acceptable there and what's not.
Yeah.
And as you go, like, I'm more obviously permissible to facing an FCS team because of how tough the Big Ten and SEC's conference schedules are.
And that's why I've always been okay with it, because unless you're talking about maybe a not very deep Big 12 or not very deep ACC, or even at times the Big 10 wasn't all that deep before you added some of the West Coast powers, that, it maybe got on people's nerves a little bit more, and myself included on that. But now when you look at all of these deep conferences, and as the other Power 4 conferences continue to strengthen their overall depth, I think it's okay. I don't absolutely hate it, but let's just not make a habit of it. I know there was Iowa always gets a lot of grief for that as well. They usually have an FCS opponent, whether it's the Northern Iowa, Northern Illinois. I feel FCS,
differently about it in college football than, say, Iowa in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a different world.
We don't have enough time to talk about that in baseball.
We'll save that for the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming back, some shots being fired at Indiana when it comes to a chesty new Purdue outlook.
And from an unlikely source.
An unlikely source, yes. We'll tell you more about that as we return live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship. Here, it is Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW.
Think you know your stuff? You're invited to pit your knowledge against Handley or Hansen in Generational Beef Trivia. Sponsored by the Pit Barbecue Lounge. Every Friday at 4 p.m. If you're a boomer, you get to pick Gen X or Gen Z questions, while the boys will have to answer boomer questions. If you outsmart them, you'll win a $25 gift card to the Pit Barbecue Lounge, just off Highway 370 and 72nd. Generational Beef Trivia with Handley and Hansen. Fridays at 4 p.m. Brought to you by the Pit Barbecue Lounge.
Omaha is a sports town, and if you haven't experienced the Omaha Supernovas, this is the season. General Manager John Cook has assembled a roster built to bring another championship to Omaha, featuring former Husker Merritt Beeson, Creighton's Kiara Reinhardt, and stars from around the volleyball world. Join Nova's Nation for all 13 home matches at CHI Health Center starting this January, and experience the loudest, most electric atmosphere in professional volleyball. Secure your season tickets today at supernovas.com and join the world's #1 professional volleyball fan base.
In August, fun takes flight at Blackbird Bend Casino. Get 200 bonus points for every 10 points you earn on Monday evenings in August. Join us for hot seats every Wednesday afternoon. A guest wins every 15 minutes. Get $5 in free play for every 25 points you earn on Thursdays from 2 p.m. to midnight. And earn 6 times points on Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. and 7 times points all day on Sundays, all through August. Great gaming, delicious food, and friendly service are just around the bend at Blackbird Bend Casino near Ottawa, Iowa.
Hi, this is Dave Nabity. Every Saturday, right here on AM 590 WOW, my show, Saturday Mornings with Dave Nabity, is the place to be. 6 to 9 every Saturday. We'll cover news, politics, current events, and anything else my brain decides to conjure up. One promise, it'll be entertaining, and it'll be the right way to start your Saturday morning right here on AM 590 WOW.
Save big money on your summer project at Menards. Transform your garage with rock-solid floor coatings. Complete your project with a showroom-quality finish in one weekend. A one-car kit covers up to 250 square feet. Get everything you need to complete your project with rock-solid floor coatings. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help bring your dreams to life, 1 gallon at a time. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Summer evenings just seem better when you have a home you truly love. Imagine relaxing on the patio, hosting the grandkids, or simply enjoying the peace and comfort of a beautifully crafted home designed for the way you live today, specifically for you. At Edward Custom Homes, our homes are maintenance-free, so you can enjoy company in your backyard. No mowing needed. Award-winning, maintenance-free homes at Edward Custom Homes in a growing Elkhorn community. Book your private tour at edwardcustomhomes.com.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
And we apologize if you're watching on the stream, having some technical difficulties right there. Hey, there I am. Yeah, we'll just widen out the camera.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's get nice and cozy here. Yeah, look at that. There we are. The beautiful WOW.
It might not be better there, but the audio side, I think, for those of you who are listening here on AM 590 or through the app, perhaps you've downloaded the app and you're listening through that.
That's right. Sometimes we just got to rely on our old cell phone right now because
that might work.
The hotspot is taking a major dump on us right now. But coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to start some look into camps as we get ready for the NFL season with the Hall of Fame game tonight. Going to be talking some NFC North, and more particularly, I know some people are like, oh gosh, the Chicago Bears. Carmen DeFalco is one of the great dudes when it comes to covering all of the NFL and does a great job of it in Chicago. Is also a bourbon connoisseur.
Is he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time.
That's news to me.
But Carmen will be joining us right around 5:20. We'll also be doing our top 5 at 5. And it's got a fun little twist because today is National Root Beer Float Day.
Okay.
So we're not going to go over like the best, summer treats or anything like that. But we are going to think of maybe root beer could be in someone's top 5. But your top 5 sodas / soda pop, depending on what part of the country. I know some people call it soda, some people call it pop. Some people in the South call it Coke. Like, what kind of Coke do you want? Well, I want a regular Coke. So like a Coca-Cola? Yeah, that's a Coke.
That's all coming up.
Yeah, that'll be coming up at 5 o'clock. So start thinking about that if you want to weigh in on your top 5 sodas. This can go all the way back to your childhood because I'm probably going to bring up some stuff that you've never heard of.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
there's some good ones.
I may have gone to name brand with mine.
Would you? I'm going to ask you a question. Would you go after the hottest thing in college football right now with a veiled threat or at least a jab? In the spirit of poking a bear that really doesn't need to be poked right now in Indiana.
It is interesting. The real vein of things right now seems to be talking crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of people like doing that. Or at least being, I don't know, otherworldly aggressive, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it starts with Curt Cignetti.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, when Cignetti said Google me, at least he had like some level of track record of winning.
Yeah.
Purdue,
and it was right. I mean, we laughed because it came from James Madison.
And unfortunately for Purdue, they don't really have that.
Right.
So I don't know what leg they've got to stand on this one. But, hey, I mean.
Well, here's the quote. This is from Tommy McClellan. He is the new athletic director.
I think Justice, you got this.
Yeah,
got
do you have the audio?
think, right?
Okay, let's hear the audio here.
Every recruit, every current student athlete will hear this message repeatedly. We are here to win championships. If you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana.
Well, the worst part about that, Nick,
they just won a national championship.
The worst part about that, Nick, is if you hear at the end, I don't know if Justice can fast forward to the end, but if you get to the end, you hear it right before it cuts off, people start laughing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I can't decide if they're like laughing with him or if it's more of like a, I don't know, awkward. Oh my God, did he just say that laugh?
Yeah.
Like that's what you hear at the end is like, I don't know. Either way, it's not good. It's a horrible look, especially for a team that, okay, so I looked it up. You know, Purdue won a national title at the end of like 2010, I believe. It might have been women's dive or something.
Yeah.
But overall, 24 NCAA national championships for Indiana, 5 ever for Purdue. And you've got one of them is cheerleading.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you count that one or not. Indiana has 8 men's soccer.
I do count that, definitely.
Now, a lot of Indiana's are men's soccer, swimming.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got the 5 basketball national championships, none more recent than 1987. But, yeah, I mean, Indiana has won quite a few championships, as it happens. Not just the football one. That was probably the one that you don't want to poke. I mean, can you imagine what that game – I mean, he's going to put up like 120 on him.
Well, yeah.
He's going to try to. Cignetti will try to run the score up.
And that's the part about this that I think is very, very funny because it almost kind of reminds me when – Bill McCartney decided to take aim at Nebraska as their rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
And at first we all laughed about it, given where Nebraska was in their football lore. And it was cute. And it was like, all right, yeah, that's fine. We're not hearing you. Now, this is the old the old wooden – wait, what did I just say? The old wooden bucket. It's actually been a rivalry.
Okay.
The Oaken bucket. Sorry, the old Oaken bucket. I want to say the wooden bucket. Same thing. Can't keep up with all these trophy games. The old Oaken bucket rivalry that everyone just sort of laughed at before. Like, oh, yeah. Cool. On rivalry week, I get to really dive into Indiana and Purdue. I'm really excited about that.
I don't think that's ever made anybody's
top
10.
Hell no. And now
it won't still.
And now there's a little bit of the, all right, we're trying to, it usually comes from a coach. That's why I thought it was very interesting from an athletic director that he's trying to start this fun little rekindled rivalry, whether you get into the old Oaken bucket trophy game or not, that, all right, we see what you're doing, Indiana. Now we got to step up our game. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and take some shots at you. See if I can kind of rattle you a little bit.
The reaction is actually pretty similar to this, to the way it was to Cignetti with the Google Me comment.
Yeah.
And the comments that he made in Assembly Hall, taking shots at everybody saying, what, it was definitely Purdue sucks. Did you say Ohio State sucks too? I can't even remember. It's been a while ago.
Do you think Tommy McClellan is the new Google Me?
I don't think he's going to back that up. You know, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I don't think he's going to back up his talk on this.
I just want to know, again.
Maybe in volleyball. They'll be good in volleyball.
I'm kind of bummed that this did not happen at Big Ten Media Days too. Like, what would you have done if Barry Odom, who was sitting right next to us at one point, would have said, "Yeah, if you want to go win championships, you want to be here. You want to be
that
here.
guy out on a limb, man.
If you don't want to go to championships or win championships, then go to Indiana." With Kurt Cignetti sort of lurking. That could have been fun.
Could have been.
I wish they would have at least done something like that. But yeah, it was interesting. But part of me gets it. Because when you're that bad, and Purdue has really hit the skids, man.
Well, they're horrible at football.
Well, and especially, they had that thought, Jeff Brom looked like he was the dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then he leaves for Louisville. And since it has not been good, and it's gotten a little bit further down the road. But if you're looking for something to try to spark not just athletics, but more importantly, your football program, I guess you say things like this
at your introductory press conference. I mean, you're certainly setting the tone. I did see somebody quote tweeted it and said, you can see the exact moment if you watch the video where he regrets what he's saying. It was scripted.
Yeah.
He wrote it out. It's like, he was not ad-libbing this. He planned to say that.
So now a speechwriter needs to be fired. Or
Yeah,
at least reprimanded.
if the Purdue athletic director gets a speechwriter.
I
don't
think
think he does.
This will
A step
be
or two down from the president.
I think a very calm and probably guarded response from the Indiana side, if ever asked, because Kurt Cignetti's going to be asked about
They'll
this.
prove it on the field.
Yep, and he'll probably have some type of a smirk, some type of a confident air about him, and then he'll just say, "Bring it on."
Yeah,
or he might just laugh.
Or I mean, I just wonder how many points they're going to put up on him.
Yeah,
like what do you think?
Oh, they could easily put up
80 points
on that Purdue team.
I mean, it's the last game of the season. Maybe he'll rest some guys. But
that would be great. They rest guys and they still put up a 50 burger.
That would be crazy.
And Kurt Cignetti crazy enough to do that. All right, coming up in hour number 4, our top 5 at 5 will kick us off. We're going with the top 5 sodas on this National Day of Remembrance. No, the root beer float day. It's Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW.
The legend has returned. Sports Talk Huskers. AM 590 WOW. Omaha. This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The run by Atlanta's Bijan Robinson is the highest paid running back in NFL history, less than 2 days. That title now belongs to Detroit's Jahmyr Gibbs, agreed today to a 3-year, $67 million extension, $51 million guaranteed. Deal coming on the same day the Colts and Jonathan Taylor agreed on a 2-year, $44 million extension, $39 million guaranteed. Despite Baker Mayfield's public airing of his frustrations over a lack of a new contract, Buccaneers aren't concerned about the state of things between the sides. Team's view of him hasn't changed, explains GM Jason Light.
Baker, as we all know here, is a very fiery competitor that's not afraid to speak his mind. I'm sure he's disappointed, frustrated. We were too. But like I said, he is, we're in a good place. He's out to have the best year. He's focused on having the best year of his career.
NBA at his introductory press conference, new 76ers forward Jaylen Brown was asked about his relationship with now former Celtics teammate Jason Tatum. He revealed there hasn't been much, if any, communication between them lately.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Time now for the Injury Report, brought to you by Abood Law Firm. When injuries happen, go to aboodlawfirm.com.
Husker fans, here's some good news on the injury front. Wide receiver Janiron Bonner, safety Rex Guthrie, offensive lineman Gunnar Gatula, and tight end Carter Nelson are all healed up and ready to go for fall camp. Bonner was injured in the season opener last season. Against Cincinnati, he suffered a torn ACL and would miss the remainder of the season. Rex Guthrie had off-season surgery for an injury that he suffered last December in the Las Vegas Bowl. Gatula suffered an injury last November in the UCLA game. Nelson had shoulder surgery in January to clean up bone spurs. A couple of Husker players, however, are on the injured list. Linebacker Jacob Bauer suffered a knee injury during spring camp and will be out to start fall camp. Wide receiver Demetrius Bell will be participating participating in fall camp, but on a limited basis after missing most of the last 2 years with a knee injury. That's your injury report, brought to you by Abood Law Firm.
I never needed an attorney until this happened. Call Abood Law Firm. You want a pro in your corner. Get 40 years of experience. Their slogan, we're here to help. You never know when you'll need an attorney, but if that day comes, Abood Law Firm will consult with you for free, and you don't pay if they don't win. Check out aboodlawfirm.com. When accidents happen, when injuries happen, aboodlawfirm.com.
With school just around the corner, don't forget to buy Nordic Naturals DHA products. DHA is essential for normal brain and eye development, and it may help attention, behavior, and reading. And these supplements are on sale the whole month of August at no-name nutrition markets. Available in capsules, gummies, and liquid form.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop.
My wife and I were watching television one evening, and we saw an ad come on, and it was for Roof Max. So after I had 4 or 5 people out, he came out, and sure enough, it turned out to be a great process, especially being able to replace some of the shingles that came off. I'd be happy to give a recommendation. You guys do such an outstanding job, and I've watched you all the way through the process, and I just have nothing but praise for how careful and neat and really exacting crew was and what they did.
Learn more at roofrevivenebraska.com or call 402-679-5741.
When the power goes out, everything changes. Your comfort, safety, and peace of mind suddenly matter more than ever. That's why homeowners across the Midwest trust Generators for Sale. From expert guidance to professional installation, their team makes backup power simple. So when severe weather hits, life keeps moving without interruption. Generators for Sale. Power your home. Protect what matters most. Learn more at homegeneratorsforsale.com. If you don't know Jack, call Jill of All Trades, voted Best of Omaha 3 years in a row.
My name is Christy. They painted our whole house and they did some soffit work for us. I would highly recommend Kim. She is fantastic. She has a great eye for detail. Her crew was wonderful. Everything was clean when they left, and it was fantastic.
Call Kim at Jill of All Trades today, 402-905-8144. And don't forget, Best of Omaha voting is going on now.
Did you know the Salvation Army of Omaha provides 8 main programs and services for people in need around the metro? Food, housing, mental health, youth development, material assistance, older adult services, anti-human trafficking, and emergency disaster services. We're here to help no matter what the time or season. For more information, just go to salarmyomaha.org. That's salarmyomaha.org.
Welcome to the Hoppy Hour on Handley and Hansen. Brought to you by Monolithic Brewing. Carved from a single shared vision, delivering high quality, well-crafted beers. Now, let's crack this hour wide open.
It's the best hour of the day. It is that final hour, getting yourself home from work, hopefully on this Thursday. Well, it's our Hoppy Hour brought to you by Monolithic Brewing on 120th and Fort. And tomorrow is the day. That is the Jorts Weather. They've got that Session IPA that they're going to be releasing, the Jorts Weather Session IPA. And if you wear jorts to the event, you get your first pour of Jorts Session IPA for just $1.
Ooh,
that's a great
deal.
Absolutely, that's a great deal.
Take advantage of that.
Yes, and don't forget, it's not just the great brew that they have over at Monolithic Brewing. They also have some very good burgers. They're going to have a little some pulled pork there tomorrow, too.
Ooh, that sounds very good.
So enjoy that over at Monolithic tomorrow. That gets underway, I believe, at the doors open at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So enjoy that and a little jorts weather. We'll see how many of you decide to show up to get a cheap beer by wearing jorts. My co-host would do that.
No,
you're
actually.
not. No. Okay.
God, this is my best. The best part about it being done is that tomorrow everybody will get to, 1, take advantage of that deal.
Yeah.
But 2, that you'll stop asking me about it.
Okay.
That's
fine.
the best part about it.
I just, I know your generation has brought back the jorts. So
No.
I'm glad that you're not doing that.
No. I refuse.
It is our top 5 at 5 here on a Thursday. Every Thursday at 5 o'clock, we run down just the most random top 5 list. And today is National Root Beer Float Day.
Hello.
Yes, indeed. That is exciting. And here on Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW, we like to take these little national holidays, and if they just happen to coincide with our little top 5, then all the better. That we're going to not go over, like we could have done ice cream. We could have done your favorite summer treat, something like that. Sure. We could have done that, and it might be fun. But I figured, you know what? A soda pop has to go into a root beer float, being a root beer.
It's true.
So it begs the question, what would your top 5, your all-time soda pop list be? Or pop, or Coke, or whatever the hell people call it.
I'm going soda.
I always call it pop. Now, see, I haven't drank pop. It's probably going on 20 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't do diet. So I went cold turkey.
This list is going to be dated as hell from you.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Yeah, there's nothing like new that I have on my list. So I used to drink Mountain Dew a lot. And it was probably right around 2007, 2008. Is when I said adios to pop, just went cold turkey, did water. And that was pretty much it.
I get the appeal. I'm interested too when Justice comes in on this, if we get any of the kind of the new healthier sodas. If any of those
is like
here.
Now Starry's not a healthy soda, right? I've heard Starry, Bill Simmons podcast, he's a big Starry guy.
Yes.
I just don't know much about it because I haven't drank it.
It just used to be Sierra Mist.
Sierra Mist,
I don't think there's anything different about it.
So there's some great classics that I think you can find them in maybe some seedy locations, but I believe you could still get Surge, which everybody was trying to emulate the Mountain Dew craze. Mm-hmm. There was Surge. There was, I'm forgetting one too. Oh, Mellow Yellow. That was Mellow the one, Yellow. Right? Mountain Dew was like blowing up, and Mellow Yellow was like, oh, hey, we need that. And they were a Coca-Cola product.
Is that caffeinated?
Mellow Yellow? Oh, yeah.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who remembers seeing Days of Thunder, you remember the Cole Trickle Mellow Yellow car at the very end of that. That's when Mellow Yellow really blew up. So, let's go around the horn. Let's start with our number 5. We'll work our way down to number 1. So, number 5 for me, when I think of my days of enjoying pop, I always think of kind of around this time of the year and, being hot summer, either playing baseball in the summer or any other sport. And there was always that cooler that was brought after the game by whoever's turn it was to bring treats. Mm-hmm. Now they bring treats, and then for my generation, parents always brought pop.
Got it.
For games afterwards. And nothing.
Orange slices.
Yeah, there'd be orange slices, a lot of Rice Krispie treats in that time as well.
Playing the hits.
But I'm telling you, when it was really hot out, nothing seemed to hit better than when you open up that cooler and you see an Orange Crush. Orange Crush is my number 5.
I got to go in a very, very similar direction for me. This is one that, I'm not picking this one most times. I pick it maybe once a year. If maybe once every 5 years, and it is in the Orange Crush vein. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's the counterpart. Fanta checks in for me at not John Fanta, just regular Fanta checks in for me at number 5.
John Fanta soda. I love it. Justice, what is your number 5 soda?
Number 5 for me with a couple of honorable mentions. Mountain Dew Code Red. Thank you. You're red. Okay. Another honorable mention, Ginger Ale. Thank you for keeping my luxurious locks red and ginger year round. Can't thank you enough for that. Number 5 for me, fellas. Anytime I get street tacos, anytime I would go to get some sort of enchilada or maybe a quesadilla, I had to go with pineapple Fanta as my number 5. It's incredible. Nothing goes better with a street taco with a little ceviche with a little lime on top of the steak tacos. Better than a pineapple Fanta straight from the glass bottle. That's my number 5.
Oh, God.
Pineapple Fanta.
Pineapple Fanta?
It's so good. Fanta Piña?
No.
So good.
Yes. Oh, okay. All right.
I cannot get on board.
It's going to be that kind of list. Okay. Well, we're going to get weird with this thing. Okay.
That's like, where do you even get that? Like, it has to be the places where you've got the machine that lets you pick all the.
I feel like that's kind of. I feel like that's kind of bougie, isn't it, Justice? I feel
Hey,
like
they sell it in supermarkets. You can get any good. There was a great in Lincoln. There was a great a Mexican street market that would sell by the bottle for super cheap. It was awesome. Get a 2-liter of it.
Pineapple Fanta. Okay, wow. I'm going to try to recover from that one. For me, number 4 actually was probably the most modern one that I had back in my soda pop drinking days, and that was Mountain Dew Livewire. The orange bottle. It was just so good, like really tasty, and you could tell by every drink the amount of sugar intake was just insane. But damn, did it taste good. So yeah, I'm gonna go Mountain Dew Livewire as my number 4 top soda.
Number 4 for me, also a little bit harder to find, and this is one that I like to take on occasion. This is not one that is, again, very like, I bet in Omaha, of the soda dispensaries at the restaurants, the fast
We'll reconnect with Grant and Nick here temporarily. In the meantime, continuing the top 5 soda conversations. At my number 4, it's National Root Beer Float Day while we try to get reconnected with Grant and Nick out at Indian Creek Golf Course, Pinnacle Bank Championship. As always, you can check us out, AM 590 WOW, 590WOW.com, or check out the YouTube or social page. My number 4 is the greatest root beer of all time. It is A&W root beer coming in at number 4. Not much better that you can put on a root beer float on a cold day. Just a very simple, super smooth drink. Let's wait for the guys to get reconnected.
Shasta it was a knockoff brand. It was more of a budget brand. And, growing up with 3 older brothers, I had to, my mom and dad had to be economical with our pop drinking, and all 4 of us like to drink our fair share of pop. And so you could get these things in the cardboard cases. You could get an assortment. It's kind of like what you can do at a brewery when you get all the beers and you put them in a cardboard case. Get this 4-pack here, this 4-pack here, this 4-pack. So you get like a 6-pack here, 6-pack here. But Shasta had a cream soda that was phenomenal. And so I know, like, there's different versions of cream soda, and Doug had a good cream soda and everything, but there was something about the Shasta cream soda that was just better than anything else. So my number 3 is actually going to be Shasta. That is my number 3.
Okay, good pick. Good pick from you. We are going to switch things up and go with my number 3, which is Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is a classic, I think, just on all levels, because I couldn't even describe the flavor to you. like what is the actual flavor for Mountain Dew? I don't even, is it citrus?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah, I think it's citrusy. I think it's more of a, I think citrus is probably the best way you can describe it. It's sugar. There's a lot of sugar in there, and you're gonna experience that. But yeah, I think the best way that I can describe it would be what do they always say? Well, it's mountain. Yeah, there's no. Citrus. Sure. I don't know. That's a great question. I am not sure.
That's my number 3. Mountain Dew is my number 3. Again, I go to that one. Code Red's great, but you can't really go wrong with that one, especially if you're looking for caffeine.
So my number 2, you said Mr. Pibb, and I know people are like, oh, you're going to go Dr. Pepper.
Sure.
I am not. I'm not going to go Dr. Pepper. I'm going to go back to my Shasta craze. There was a knockoff brand of Dr. Pepper, and it's actually called Dr. Diablo. Dr. Diablo is my number 2. This thing took Dr. Pepper and Mr. Pibb to the woodshed and beat the ever-living piss out of it. Dr. Diablo was the GOAT when it came to the Dr. Pepperish or Mr. Pibb type pops. I know you can still get Dr. Diablo.
Mhm.
So yeah, give me Dr. Diablo. I am all in on that. That is my number 2.
Okay. Good pick there.
Yeah.
We got to go quick here too, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
Dr. Pepper is my number 2. I mean,
So
just
you're
like,
a Pibb and a Pepper fan.
Yeah.
All right.
There's actual subtle differences between the two. I don't know if I could describe them to you in great detail.
Mhm.
But Dr. Pepper. Dr.
Okay.
Pepper is my number 2.
You already had my number 1, and you mentioned it, and that was Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is my favorite. Mountain Dew was the reason I had to absolutely get rid of pop because of the amount of sugar. It was insane. And for me, yeah, Mountain Dew was always the OG. It was if there was a Mountain Dew in the fridge, it was not safe. And even if it was my brother's claim or whatever, whoever had it, I would always take it. It led to some fights amongst siblings because I would take their Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew's my number 1.
Number 1 for me, I guess 7-Up actually technically is the first pop I ever had. That was the classic tummy ache and or sickness sort of deal. But my number 1 is Sprite.
Okay. I thought you were going to say 7-Up.
Number 1 is Sprite. Uncaffeinated, so you're not going to be up all night if you have one of those.
You're not burping.
And again, lemon lime. Can't go wrong with lemon lime.
That's our top 5 at 5. Pardon the technical difficulties again. We're going to try to reconnect here. And also, we're going to talk to Carmen DeFalco of ESPN 1000 and the host of Carmen and Yurko in the morning. We will join Carmen after the break. It's Handley and Hansen live from the Pinnacle Bank Championship here on AM 590 WOW.
Some people chase trophies. The crew at Monolithic Brewing, they're chasing the perfect pint. Every small batch is built on creativity, collaboration, and a passion for great beer. But don't come hungry expecting just a pint. The kitchen is serving up unique burgers, wraps, and appetizers that are just as memorable. Throw in new beer releases, fun events, and a welcoming neighborhood atmosphere, and you'll see why people keep coming back to Monolithic Brewing. Monolithic Brewing, small batch beer, monumental flavor.
The Husker Practice Report with Sean Callahan is brought to you by Physicians Mutual.
Physicians Mutual.
Well, no player really has a closer relationship to new defensive coordinator Rob Orich than linebacker Owen Chambliss. Chambliss played for Orich at San Diego State and said so far it's been a pretty smooth transition in Lincoln.
Like you walk by his office and he's got his hat on and he's just watching film. He's probably going crazy in his little office. But yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. He loves what he does. He might come off as being mad, but I think he's just obsessed with being the best DC in the country.
It was also interesting to hear Chambliss talk about his relationship with head coach Matt Rule, who he refers to on a first-name basis.
We'll be at practice and then I'll come off the field and Matt will come up to me, I'll come up to Matt, and he'll be like, what were you looking at that play? Or what should you be looking at? Or what was I looking at? We'll just talk through my mental process for each play, getting guys lined up and stuff like that and understanding the game. And I think it makes it more comfortable because I can just be like, hey, Matt, real quick, I saw blah, 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 blah. What about this? So
reporting here with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.
Born and raised right here, Physicians Mutual understands Nebraska values. Like you, we live them every day at work and in the community. For over 120 years, we've kept our promise to be there when you need it most, delivering peace of mind that comes with that promise. With Physicians Mutual, you can rest easy knowing that your Nebraska neighbor will help protect what matters most to you and your family. Visit physiciansmutual.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Jalen Hurts just wins all the time. I don't care what his numbers are. I don't care who's the reason for it. He's just the guy that plays quarterback for the team that wins a lot and was once second in the MVP voting. I don't understand why he's just continuously dropped down when all of the stuff we are begging these quarterbacks like Jordan Love and Justin Herbert to do, Jalen Hurts has done.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings 5 to 9, AM 590, WOW.
Having trouble sleeping? Stop by 42 Degrees and discover why so many people turn to 42 Degrees for solutions that help them rest, relax, and wake up feeling refreshed. Visit the brand new location at 180th and Q or stop by any of the 10 convenient 42 Degrees locations serving Omaha and Lincoln. Grand opening savings are happening now, making it the perfect time to stop in. Learn more at 42degrees.com. That's 42degrees.com. 42 Degrees. Still by your mom's house.
Oh, honey, you look like you could use a break from the day-to-day. And your oasis, your spa-cation, I just made that word up, is at 120th and Pacific. Creative Hair Design Salon and Spa with a hair and nail salon on the first floor and an extensive spa on the second. There are so many reasons why they've been chosen Omaha's best since 1993. Check out their webpage and choose a service or two to soothe and recharge your senses. Creative Hair Design Salon and Spa. They are so looking forward to hearing from you.
At Harvest Auto Family, we believe buying a vehicle should be simple, transparent, and enjoyable. That's why we offer an extensive inventory with something for every driver. We're Nebraska's pre-owned car, truck, and electric vehicle experts, providing quality vehicles, fair pricing, and friendly service you can count on. It's no surprise drivers across the United States trust Harvest Auto Family. The next time you're headed to Lincoln for the game or taking the family on a road trip, stop by Harvest Auto Family at the Roundabout in Wahoo. Visit us online at driveharvest.com.
On the upcoming edition of the Great Outdoor Radio Show here on AM 590 WOW, you'll meet Roger Kuhn, retired assistant director for Nebraska Game and Parks. Roger was responsible for raising huge amounts of money from the private sector for the Nebraska State Parks. Visit with Raj when he joins me, Greg Wagner, and you 9 to 10 Saturday morning on AM 590 WOW. The Great Outdoor Radio Show is presented by Cubby's Convenience Stores, Daniel's Produce, Host Coffee, and Stoyce's House of Sausage.
Omaha heat can be brutal. Broken AC makes it worse. If your system can't keep up, call Controlled Comfort for fast, professional cooling service. Their certified technicians diagnose issues quickly and restore comfort when you need it most. Stay cool, protect your system, and avoid costly breakdowns. Homes and businesses alike enjoy reliable indoor comfort through the hottest days of summer across Omaha all season long. Schedule your service today at ControlledComfort.com.
Controlled Comfort keeps it under control.
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
You know, it's old home week here as we're broadcasting live at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW ESPN Radio. Had a chance to talk to Freddie Coleman, a guy that I've had on the show many, many times, and another guy who sort of I got introduced to through the late, great Jeff Dickerson is our next guest, and that is Carmen DeFalco of ESPN 1000 in Chicago, host of Carmen and Yurko in the mornings over there in the great stick of ESPN 1000 in Chicago. Carmen, I was hoping that our paths would cross like this again. It is outstanding to be not only talking to you, but now seeing your face as well.
But it's nice to see you, Nick. I haven't seen you in a little while, so it is good. I like it. I love technology when it works in our favor, and I feel like this works in our favor.
That's right. That's right. And I what's funny, and this was a story I think I told Grant too. The only time I saw you in person, my wife and son came to a remote you guys were doing at Twin Peaks to drop you off some beer. And I remember my wife walking in saying, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna walk back out. You can go ahead and take care of that because they."
Boys, I just lost the audio. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me, fellas?
I think we're going to have to reconnect here
I
again.
just lost you, fellas. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We are going to try to reconnect with Carmen DeFalco right now. Carmen, sorry if you can hear us right now. We're going to try to reconnect. We're having some connection things right now going on, as that's kind of been the issue today. So we'll try to get him on the phone here. As I can see Carmen, I can't necessarily hear him right now, but yeah, this is fun. This is the beauty of live radio right now. Hey, Carmen, we're going to try to hit you up on the phone if that is better for you. And sorry about the clunkiness of this. We're going to do that.
It's all good.
Carmen DeFalco is going to join us on the phone. Right now, we're getting a little bit of that interference with the hotspot. Is it the sun, do we think?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mix of several different things, and it's not consistent, which is the best.
No. And what's funny is, hey, there you are now. Your camera and your system was working earlier. Now mine is actually working and yours is down. So I don't know. I'm on my hotspot now. So who the
I couldn't tell
heck knows? Let's do this. Well, we'll see if we can get Carm on the phone. We'll wait for Justice to do that. I'll have to send you his phone number, I guess, too. This is fun, isn't it? Hey, how do you like on-site live radio?
I know.
Last
One
week,
of these days we'll reconnect on the stream.
yes, and last week it was actually pretty good. We didn't have any issues.
And we were inside. We were in a
We
freaking
were.
ice tub.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a lot of the deal there. All right, I'm rebooting here.
Okay, you're rebooting. You're there. Okay, there we go.
I don't know. I mean, it's just been so hit or miss this whole day.
Yeah. We are. Just don't worry. I am sending you Carmen's number right now, and so you can call him on the phone. He was being a trooper, and he was going to hang with us.
He is a trooper.
Oh boy, this is fun.
Well, the Bears will certainly be a topic of discussion,
Yes,
as
they
will
will.
the change in the running back side of things.
That's right.
I mean, that is such an interesting piece of it, to where we, even just a few short years ago, when my Giants were not interested in paying Saquon Barkley,
Mhm.
and he leaves and goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, who promptly make him the highest paid running back, in the NFL. I mean, that was sort of the low point for running backs. That was the whole discussion that summer, was just diving into all the different issues that running backs had with how they were being compensated, and who would decide to be a running back
Right.
if you knew that in the end your ceiling in the NFL is only this, versus if you decide to make yourself a defensive back or a linebacker, it's this.
Yeah.
And now those guys are all getting paid this summer.
Yeah, and I think that, again, when it comes to, and we'll talk to Carmen here in a moment about just the NFC North, I think right now the storyline in that division is, without question, the quarterbacks. And it's going to be, does Jordan Love come together when it comes to, being in sync with Matt LaFleur on what's a very important season for Matt LaFleur. And, you lose Dobbs to free agency. And so, you're looking at a little bit of a different core group for Jordan Love, but also the quarterback situation in Minnesota, which I think is going to be extremely interesting, as I believe we are joined on the phone here now. Carmen DeFalco is going to do it the old school way. We're talking to Carmen from ESPN 1000. Carmen, appreciate you sticking around, man. How are you?
No problem. You guys got me? Everything good?
Hey, this sounds great. So much better.
Here we go. Listen, I know how it goes. Believe me. If we had $1 for every time we all had technical difficulties, but just when I'm like singing the praises of technology, it bites us in the ass. Unbelievable.
Exactly. That's how it goes. Carm, I want to take a look at the NFC North too. And I was just talking about how it seems like every division has that storyline with, is it the year of is it the coaches that are in this? Is it the certain defenses that might be the storyline for the NFC North? Would I be wrong saying it's all about the quarterbacks in this division?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good point. The coaches in this division are an impressive crew too. Let's face it. They all come with, I think, some really impressive strengths. Maybe late game weakness for the guy in Green Bay, much to the delight of Bears fans. But I think they're all really good offensive minds for sure, especially LaFleur and O'Connell and Ben Johnson. I think Dan Campbell brings a little bit more of just sort of the old school kind of like general run the show type of mentality to that room, which is really good for them, and it works really well for them. But I think the quarterback point is a good one. I heard you guys talking about what's going to happen in Minnesota with Kyler Murray. As odd as a fit as it kind of seemed when those rumors first started in the offseason, like I think the world of Kevin O'Connell. So who am I to tell him, who he should be playing at quarterback? We'll see how it works, but I think you're right. I mean, look, Goff is a proven commodity at this point. As much as he surprised me in how good he's become over the course of his career, I think Caleb and Jordan can continue to sort of duke it out for, who's the best quarterback in the division. And there's still so much promise for both of them. So yeah, it's an interesting quarterback division. It's an interesting coaches division. I think it's going to be a really good division again too.
Is that the toughest division in football, the NFC North?
I mean, it's up there, right, guys? I'm curious to see what Kansas City looks like this year, what Mahomes looks like, and if there's still some magic left in in Mahomes, I think you can make a case. I mean, I don't think the Raiders are going to be particularly good, but I think you can make a pretty strong case for that division, especially with McDaniel now calling the offense in LA. I don't know what the heck to make of the 49ers, to be honest. I'd say the NFC West is probably up there too, especially if the Niners can pull it all together and stay healthy. I think those are in the running, if that seems about right, guys. And I think the NFC North is certainly going to be one of them. Look, the Lions were the last place team, you guys, last year.
Yeah.
They were 9-8. I think they had the second best run differential. I got baseball in my mind. I think they had the second best point differential still. The Bears certainly did not. The Bears won that division without the best point differential. I want to say the Lions were like a plus 62 or something. They were the last place team at 9-8, and I think they're in line to have a real big bounce back year. Again, even though they were above 500. So I think it's going to be really tough and very competitive. I do.
Carmen DeFalco is our guest here on Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW. Carm, the evolution of Caleb Williams, and we saw it in big moments last year, and I know that the knock has been the layup. Can he make the layup? And we also saw a physically different-looking Caleb Williams. He's dropped some weight, too. Just how confident is this organization, and maybe even more importantly, the fans that live and die for this, that Caleb takes that much-needed next step to where he could be close to a Tier 1 quarterback if he does?
Yeah, extremely confident. More so, I think, than we've probably ever been. Certainly more than I think we ever, were with Mitch Trubisky. And Ben Johnson. Look, Ben doesn't. He doesn't beat around the bush much. He's not going to say things just the same. Quite the opposite. And when you hear the way Ben talks about Caleb, I think what he thinks of him, I think it's coming from a real place and a genuine place, guys. So yeah, I think he's got a tremendous amount of faith and confidence that Caleb's going to build upon, some of the positive things he did last year, and he's only going to continue to get better.
Carmen, a lot of talk in Chicago from Bears side of things, at least, about being the number one regression candidate. Are they your number one regression candidate? Who is the number one regression candidate in the NFL?
Well, I don't know how it's not New England, guys, and that doesn't mean that they won't be good. But I don't know how it's not New England. Now, again, they don't have as far to go to regress. I mean, so I'm not saying they're going to be bad. I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs. But the number one regression candidate to me has got to be the New England Patriots. I give them full credit for what they did. I think Drake's really good. I think the coach is really good. They had, it's just a lot broke their way. Let's face it. And I mean a lot, all the way until, and through the AFC title game. A lot broke their way. You just can't. I have a hard time believing that they go into Denver and win that game without Jarrett Stidham starting it. I just do. So everything kind of broke their way last year. Good for them. They went to the Super Bowl, but I think that's number one. I think Jacksonville is kind of like the Bears in a lot of ways. I think if you look at some of the underlying metrics too about the way, the improvements in terms of wins from one year to the next, from 2024 to 2025. If you look at where they were, I'll go back to that point differential. If you look at where they were and how they sort of outperformed the point differential, I think they're another team that's kind of right up there with the Bears and the Patriots as a serious regression candidate. I think it can happen with the Bears, of course. I think this offense is going to be really good, guys. Really good. We can get into that more if you guys want, obviously. But there's no way, you're leading the league in takeaways again with one of the worst pass rushes in the league. It's just not going to happen. Stuff like that is not repeatable. There's no way you're winning 7 games, including the playoff game against the Packers, in which you trail in the final 2 minutes. There is just there is no world in the universe we occupy anyway, in which you're doing that in back-to-back seasons. I mean, it's just not happening. So they've got to get better in a lot of areas. I think they know that. They've spent the whole offseason talking about that. So I have faith that Ben can, I think he's the right coach for all this. But yeah, they know it. They hear what people are saying. I hope they use that as motivation. I mean, they're a prime regression candidate for some very obvious reasons when you think about the way the season went last year.
He's Carmen DeFalco. Carmen, I appreciate you sticking with us through the technical issues. I promise the next time we reconnect with you, it'll be a lot more smooth when we're in studio. But thanks for hanging in there. It's great talking to you. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Anytime, guys. I like talking football with you. Anytime. Let me know. Be well, Nick. See ya.
Thank you. That's Carmen DeFalco, ESPN 1000 out in Chicago, host of Carmen and Yurko. Just a fantastic show as well with him and John Yurkovich. Great personality there as well. Yeah. We're going to step aside when we come back. We're going to talk to Chan Kim also with a very solid afternoon round here at the Pinnacle Bank Championship as we continue broadcasting live from Indian Creek. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Does your athlete struggle with confidence? As a parent, you can see it. Your child has the talent and the work ethic, but lately something's different. They're overthinking, playing nervous, losing confidence after one mistake. The physical skills are there, but now it's time to train the mental game. Iron Minds Coaching helps young athletes build confidence, improve focus, and perform with greater composure under pressure. Because confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. Schedule a consultation today at ironmindscoaching.com.
7 years running, Omaha has voted the Marksman Indoor Range the best in town. Come find out why. 11 lanes, digital controls, and a rental wall with over 100 firearms to try. First-timers, families, seasoned shooters, everybody gets the same welcome. And safety comes first on every lane. Certified instructors teach everything from handgun fundamentals to concealed carry. The Marksman, just west of Omaha in Waterloo. Open 7 days. Vote them best of Omaha again at themarksmanindoorrange.com.
Time now for Huskers All Access, brought to you by Access Bank, here for a reason.
A lot of people ask the question, what type of tone is Nebraska going to set? Because it's an interesting season, but you guys ever even think about that going into days like this of what type of message that you guys want to be unified on, or is it just, just kind of business as usual?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's really been business. I think this summer really been the focal point of just putting our head down and working. Our motto is just, grit, relentless execution, and brotherhood. So I think that's just what we've been focusing on during the summertime. And I think you'll see the fruition of it during the season.
How different has this offseason been for you guys with the early spring and the early spring game, and then now these 4 months where you guys have essentially been able to do OTAs getting ready for the season?
It's been a huge improvement. I think you see that in the way we communicate as a team. I think, speaking me being on the defensive side, I can definitely say our defense, we've gotten a lot tighter. We're able to, which allows us to communicate better on the field and off the field. I think, and that's an important part, being on the defense, you got to be able to communicate with your guys. You got to know how to communicate with your guys. And I think just the time in between spring to now has been a big help for us just overall and raising the level of the team that we're trying to become.
This has been Huskers All Access, brought to you by Access Bank. For the full interview, visit our Facebook page, Husker Radio on Boomer.
Not every bank earns the title of Forbes Best Bank. Access Bank did, and we earned it by serving Husker Nation. Named Forbes Best In-State Bank for 2025. We are recognized for the things that matter most: trust, service, and community. When you bank local, you bank with people invested in Nebraska's success, just like you are. Learn more at accessbank.com. Access Bank, member FDIC.
Imagine this. It's 7 a.m., you're late for work, and now your garage door won't open. Or worse, it's stuck open all day while you're gone. Suddenly, your home is wide open for the world to see. That's where Spring Kings come in. As the fast and friendly garage door experts, we don't just fix what's broken, we make sure it stays safe. Broken springs, worn cables, faulty sensors, we find it before it costs you having to deal with the neighbors seeing your treadmill turn clothes rack all day. Spring Kings Omaha. We would appreciate your vote again for Best of Omaha online at springkingsomaha.com.
Welcome back to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Back with you here on Handley and Hansen. Grant Hansen, Nick Handley. It's AM 590 WOW, and fresh off the course now, Chan?
Yeah.
Just got off the course.
How was today?
Yeah, I'm going to fix your mic here, hook you up there. There you go.
It was a slow start. For sure. And then on the back nine, I don't know, maybe it was the jerky I ate, but, something clicked and I, shot 6 under. So, really good start.
I know yet. So you're Arizona State guy. You're kind of acclimated more to that climate too. Yesterday morning was the first time I had a chance to see you, and that was what, 60s. It was more kind of British Open conditions too. Were you okay during those conditions yesterday?
Not really. I'm not as young as I used to be, so mornings get a little tougher. Cold weather definitely doesn't help the back. But we play an outdoor sport. We got to deal with elements and just try and stay positive.
You were talking earlier about the greens here. I mean, if they start to firm up as it gets hotter, what does the rest of the weekend look like for you guys?
Yeah, like I said, we had very minimal wind today. The greens are still soft from all the rain, and obviously we've had cool weather. It's supposed to start heating up, and I think if the greens start to get firm and the wind picks up, I think we're not going to see as much low scores. And yeah, I don't know that if the conditions get harder, I don't know that the winning score will be past 20 under.
Oh, wow. I always feel like you've played enough rounds at this level. I always feel like, or I always want to ask if there's that shot or that hole that you're like, yeah, that's where everything was locked in. Was there a shot today or just a particular hole or even a stretch during your round today that you're like, yep, there it was?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I started on the back nine. I hit a lot of great shots. I made bogey on 11. It's a tough hole.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hit the fairway. It's 533. So, and then I birdied one of the holes. I can't remember which one it was, but definitely the one that turned it around was on hole one, which is my back nine.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of pulled my drive left. I was in the rough, but hit a really good shot up there. Made birdie. And then that just kind of kickstarted everything.
Yeah.
It just rolled in a really good putt, and then all of a sudden, the hole looked twice as big. So
nice.
What's the toughest hole here at Indian Creek?
Oh, 11, I think, for sure. Yeah. I mean, 533, dogleg right. If you don't hit the fairway, I mean, maybe some of these young kids can hit it past those bunkers, but I sure can't. So, like yesterday, it was cold, and I had mini driver, and I was still short. So,
wow.
Yeah.
How you've been a part of this tournament? How's just overall? We always rave about the organization of it, and how they put this thing on. And you've had a chance to see all these different events. Where do you put the Omaha stop in the Corn Ferry here for the Pinnacle Bank Championship up?
It's pretty high up on my list. Last time I played here was in 23.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it then. I think the crowd and the hospitality out here is absolutely amazing. And just the setup, it's great for people to come out. They've got a lot of stuff to do out here, and it's just a great area too. So, like I said, the hospitality has been absolutely amazing, and I definitely knew that coming into this week.
Do you get a place that you like to come back and visit when you are here that you were like, okay, I went and got to enjoy this restaurant or something in 23. I got to go hit it here in 26.
Yeah. I think I stayed on the other side last time I was here. We're right down the road over here this time in a newly developed community.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we also have an 8-month-old daughter that's traveling with us, so we don't quite have that much time. We are trying to explore different restaurant options around the area. I know there's a ton of them to be explored. So, as much as I love to eat, I'd love to explore every single restaurant option. But yeah, I mean, well, we'll see.
You got the early tea time tomorrow. How early are we going? We're talking 7?
6:55.
Oh, 6:55. Okay,
Yep.
so you got to sleep in a little bit today, but with the 8-month-old, there's probably not much sleeping in too much, or is it gotten better?
Well, she's falling asleep earlier, and she'll be up by the time I need to wake up.
Oh,
so
okay.
She'll probably cry and wake me up anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've had to set an alarm for an early tea time the last couple of weeks. So yeah. So it kind of sucks to wake up that early and have to try and warm up. But when it's all said and done and you're done with the round, you have the whole afternoon off. So that part is kind of nice.
Handley and Hansen, AM 590 WOW, talking to Chan Kim, 6 under opening round. Before we let you go, I mentioned I got a chance to meet you briefly for the Pro-Am and setting you guys off. I played in one once, and I know the players always seem tempted to go by one of the coolers and maybe have a cold beverage. Now, that was early in the morning yesterday, so maybe that's not your thing. But, have you partake with the foursomes at all and maybe had a cocktail or two, even though you got a competition the next day?
Yeah, I've had my fair share. they're like, let's say Kentucky, the ISCO championship not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great group of guys, and it got cut short. Their program got cut short to 9 holes due to weather. And, they did have maybe 1 or 2 transfusions left over. I did dabble.
As one should.
And then I dabbled again. And I probably had, 3 transfusions and 2 beers or so during the 9 holes. But like I said, when I'm at home and I'm playing golf with somebody, that's kind of our go-to anyway. So I figured, why not?
It's one of the great. It's one of the great things for us hacks to do too. Especially even if it's a good round, well then you celebrate, and if it's a bad round, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
They call it swing lube, so it definitely loosens you up. Maybe a little too much sometimes.
Yeah,
but, it definitely works.
That's Chan Kim, 6 under today at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. Chan, really appreciate you joining us, man. Best of luck tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna come back, wrap things up here. It's Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Set the Bar is more than just your typical sports bar. It's where women's sports is a movement and not just a moment. Don't worry about dinner either. Set the Bar has smash burgers, side-out chicken sandos, and wings with 6 different types of sauces, all with an option for everyone, from vegan to vegetarian to gluten-free. Get rewarded for watching Husker or Creighton volleyball with our punch cards. 1 punch per day for watching games to earn an appetizer. And enter for your chance at the grand prize. Set the Bar. Online at set-thebar.com.
At Gene Steffi's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, you're more than a customer. You're family. Experience a world-class dealership where your needs come first. Shop comfortably under our brand new canopies, rain or shine. When it's time for service, just drive into our convenient covered service drive for fast, easy check-in. At Gene Steffi's, we're here to help you buy the right vehicle, not sell you one. Experience the Gene Steffi's difference today.
You can count on us, Gene Steffi.
Did you know the Salvation Army of Omaha provides 8 main programs and services for people in need around the metro? Food, housing, mental health, youth development, material assistance, older adult services, anti-human trafficking, and emergency disaster services. We're here to help no matter what the time or season. For more information, just go to salarmyomaha.org. That's salarmyomaha.org.
It's Gorilla Car Wash. Jeff Ballinger here. #1 with the touchless car washes for how long?
Jack, we're running on 2 decades now, and I don't know a lot of things that have been #1 for 20 consecutive years, but Gorilla Car Wash has.
Let me see. I'm trying to think. I can't come up with anything. The great thing about Gorilla Car Wash, it's convenient, open 24/7.
And we're locally owned, Jack. It's nice to have local people involved, touchless automatics, and guess what? The customers seem to love us 2 decades in a row.
GorillaWash.com.
How are the Omaha Supernovas redefining professional volleyball? Because no one supports the game like Novas Nation. General Manager John Cook has assembled a roster featuring former Husker Merritt Beeson and stars from around the volleyball world, all with one goal: bring another championship to Omaha. Be there for all 13 home matches at CHI Health Center this January and experience the loudest, most electric atmosphere in professional volleyball. Secure your season tickets today at supernovas.com and join the world's #1 volleyball fan base.
Having trouble sleeping? Stop by 42 Degrees and discover why so many people turn to 42 Degrees for solutions that help them rest, relax, and wake up feeling refreshed. Visit the brand new location at 180th and Q, or stop by any of the 10 convenient 42 Degrees locations serving Omaha and Lincoln. Grand opening savings are happening now, making it the perfect time to stop in. Learn more at 42degrees.com. That's 42degrees.com. 42 Degrees. Still by your mom's house.
Le Peep has been Omaha's favorite breakfast destination for a reason. Whether you're meeting with friends for brunch, catching up over coffee, or enjoying a family breakfast, Le Peep serves fresh, made-from-scratch favorites you'll come back for again and again. Pair your meal with a handcrafted coffee made from locally sourced espresso and discover why Omaha has voted Le Peep the #1 best breakfast for 19 years. Stop by one of our 4 convenient locations and taste the Le Peep difference for yourself.
Are you frustrated with your current pharmacy? Well, you're not alone. There's a better way. VRX Pharmacy in Omaha, 1 block north of 90th and Dodge. I'm Charles Tomlinson, a pharmacist at VRX. At VRX, we take the time to get your medications organized, simplified, and tailored to you. Plus, we deliver. We work with all providers, except all insurances, Medicare and Medicaid. Call VRX today, a better way to get your medications.
Make the call, make the change today. VRX, the better way, the better way.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kaiser, founder of Kaiser Wealth Management. At Kaiser Wealth Management, we work one-on-one with clients to help create personalized financial strategies designed around their unique goals and priorities. Backed by nearly 3 decades of industry experience, I'm committed to provide thoughtful guidance and personalized attention every step of the way. Learn more about planning for the retirement you've worked so hard to achieve. Contact us today at kaiserwealth.com. We're in Omaha. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Hi, my name is Ty, and I recently was told that I needed to get a new roof by 2 different contractors. I was freaking out considering that my roof wasn't even that old, but I saw a commercial on Roof Max, and I gave them a call and have them come out and look at the roof. They came out, they said I was eligible for the Roof Max product that actually rejuvenated the shingles and makes my roof look like it's a brand new roof that was just recently put on. I would recommend Roof Max to anyone.
Learn more at roofrevivenebraska.com or call 402-679-5741. Summer evenings just seem better when you have a home you truly love. Imagine relaxing on the patio, hosting the grandkids, or simply enjoying the peace and comfort of a beautifully crafted home designed for the way you live today, specifically for you. At Edward Custom Homes, our homes are maintenance-free, so you can enjoy company in your backyard. No mowing needed. Award-winning, maintenance-free homes at Edward Custom Homes in a growing Elkhorn community. Book your private tour at edwardcustomhomes.com.
Have you been to Deer's Ford lately?
We may not be the biggest dealership around, but we strive to be the best. And Fremont agrees. We've been honored with 9 Best of Fremont awards, including Best Place to Work, New Car Dealer, Pre-Owned Car Dealer, Locally Owned Business, Tire Store, Auto Repair, Glass Repair, Body Shop, and Best Oil Change. See why so many drivers choose Deers Ford Lincoln. Visit us today at deersford.com, Fremont's best award-winning dealership.
Have you been to Deer's Ford lately?
Kick back and strap in for some lively conversation. Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW.
Well, wrapping things up here from the Pinnacle Bank Championship here at Indian Creek. It's been a technical adventure, to say the least. Say the very least. So we appreciate y'all hanging in there with us and being able to join in on the content. Also, big thank you to all of our guests on the show.
Great
going all the way back to Michael Bruntz. Seems like that was forever ago, because that was
that way
before it was
3.5 hours ago.
Well, that was when all things were fine, and then
it's true.
Then Bruntz comes on,
fun times,
and everything happened, and then
we can't put that on him.
No, I try not to, but there is that. Freddie Coleman, that's when we kind of had some technical issues too. But Freddie, great to hear from him. Carmen DeFalco of ESPN 1000, and also the golfers Nate Vonson and having Chan Kim. Chan Kim, boy, I'll tell you what,
he was fun.
Those are the stories you love to hear about. I mean, golf always has a little bit of that narrative or that mystique of kind of being the white collar sport and the top button sport and the country club sport. But I feel like it's been so much more open, and you hear stories like that. A guy getting ready for competition, but not afraid to tilt a few with his pro-am partners here and there. He said he didn't yesterday though, but he has done it on occasion. But good stuff from Chan Kim. Appreciate all that. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're hoping tomorrow will be a little bit more technically sound. I think
we'll see.
We're confident.
We'll see.
You're not.
I think so.
We'll see.
Hey, sell short, over deliver.
That's right. That's right. Coming up in What's on Tap, we will tell you exactly what to expect on the great program that is following us on Sports Nightly.
Dana Holgerson tonight.
Exactly. Holgo goes 6'10".
Kyle and Jessica were talking last night. They were like, I don't know if we can get him. I don't like doing interviews. Well, sure enough, they got him.
Yeah,
So
they did get him. I don't know who was the deciding factor. Or Holgo,
he's as much as he allegedly doesn't like doing interviews, he is a fantastic interviewer.
I always enjoyed, you and I would go to the coach's availability on that Tuesday last year. I always enjoyed hearing him talk. So he'll be on at 6:10. Also, Skylar Pierce going to be on the show talking to Husker volleyball. And then David Benning is going to be on the program at 7:20 to talk more Nebraska football. That's coming up right after us here on AM 590 WOW. So you've got a Hall of Fame game tonight.
Okay.
So I'm
It's on
assuming,
NBC, isn't it?
The Hall of Fame game tonight is
It's on NFL.
on
Network.
NBC.
It's NBC.
It
That's
is
what I thought.
NBC.
There was a small part of me for a second. I was like, NFL Network?
Yep.
No,
You
NBC.
got Red Sox, White Sox tonight. Braves are hosting the Marlins, and then your Royals doing us Guardians a favor and trying to keep the Twins at bay. But
Dude, they've done a
play.
great job of that.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
6:30.
look, I mean, one good month, one month of August, 10 games over, and then they're right back in the hunt.
Yes, they are.
So, I mean, they're not going to do that, obviously, but, I mean, it's a horrible division.
You can watch some WNBA tonight too on Prime Video. Fever, Aces, and Lynx Sparks.
Okay.
Not to forget about the WNBA going on right now as well. So, yeah, that is what is on tap. And was it me or did the 4 hours feel like 8 hours because of the technical stuff? Like, I'm exhausted from this.
It felt longer to me.
I'm exhausted from
Yeah.
this. But hey, you know what? No signs came down crashing.
That is good. Nobody died. So we're checking off boxes left and right.
And I believe everybody is kind of in their final few holes of the very last ones to go off of. So I think we're safe from any errant tee shots. Not that we would have been, because as I mentioned, where we're located, it would take a Herculean effort or the most amazing trick shot to be plunked over here.
Oh, yeah.
But, again, I want to invite you, if you're making your way out to the Pinnacle Bank Championship tomorrow, if you come by, show us that you have downloaded the AM 590 WW app. Well, then we will hook you up with a very cool logoed golf bag cooler. Now,
That'll
it's
be
not
fun.
the same size as an actual golf bag. It's like miniaturized golf bags. You've seen these things around. It's an awesome cooler.
Quality.
So we ain't just giving it out to anybody. So we will have some around tomorrow. Come on by. We are located right as you come in off to the right, that main courtyard area that looks over number 9 green and the first tee box as well on number 1. Can't miss us. We got the big WOW tent up here, and you'll see my bald head.
That is a great landmark.
Yeah, I think it's a good. It's a dead giveaway right there. Justice Rhody, really appreciate you for doing everything you could to make sure that we stayed on the air as much as we can with some of the technical issues. But appreciate your help out there, my friend. For Grant Hansen and Justice Rhody.
Justice.
Who am I? I don't even know. I'm Nick Handley, and we are thanking you for listening to Handley and Hansen on AM 590 WOW. Sports Night is coming up next. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.